So looks like we got the camera up and running. Eric, you can hear me okay?
I got you.
Tyler, you got me?
Gotcha.
All right, cool. So this is America. So we're going to get this podcast rolling. Eric, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Tyler, you good?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Welcome to 56Plus1. I'm Rich.
And I'm Eric.
And welcome to another episode of This is America. We've talked about the good, the bad, the ugly. And in the past, we've had first responders and a couple veterans on. We've had firefighters. We've had small business owners. But Tyler, as you know, we are 56Plus1. We're talking about the Constitution, the founders of the Declaration of Independence and the signers of the Constitution. And your case is a special one because now we're dealing with the U.S. Constitution in the court. So, Tyler, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you had a little ride down here to Connecticut, but
Not bad.
what is about an hour away, you said?
Like 45
minutes, yeah. So awesome. So we're going to get into some of Tyler's story here. He's been going through a little battle with the well, you're from Massachusetts, so in the Massachusetts court systems, this is a family law issue, correct? You're in the family courts.
Yeah.
So just a quick synopsis. You're kind of in a split from your partner, your spouse. I don't think you guys were married, but you guys had a domestic partnership for a number of years.
Yeah, 20 years almost.
20 years, and you have a child together.
Yep.
So there's child support and everything else. But so one of the reasons that you're here so quickly is because we were talking about doing this when we got into the Constitution, but I know this story is pretty active for you now. You just had a run-in with the police Friday.
That's correct.
Correct?
Yeah.
What happened?
So there was like there's always been like a little minor issue about a motorcycle that I had. She had gained access to a title out of my house after we split, and she had been trying to retrieve the motorcycle for a little while, and she had called it in stolen. She had the title. She filled it out in her name, and had me picked up Friday on the way to an event that we were holding, and the police confiscated the motorcycle.
So you had the motorcycle was in the back of your
It was
truck.
in the back of my truck, yeah.
So you're driving through town and the cops spot you out of the
They just
blue.
pulled me over, yeah, and they're like, "You got somebody else's motorcycle in the back of your truck."
I mean, how did they know that you were coming? She obviously
She
told
called
them
it,
where you
yeah,
were going to
for
be.
sure, yeah.
So
They told me that. Yeah. She had called
yeah.
me.
So this is just a small glimpse of what you've been going through for, I believe, about a year and a half now, right?
Roughly, yeah.
It's been hell for you, and you know, I know Eric. You guys are cousins. You and Tyler are cousins. So
Yeah, and the interesting part about us being cousins is we hadn't seen each other up until last year. Since I don't know,
Probably since I was 10 years old.
8
maybe
to
not
10 years
even.
old,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
it's been a while.
So
Yeah.
it's not like we were best buds by any means.
Right.
And we just connected over fishing with his twin brother, and that led us to a what I would define as a somewhat of a business relationship. I'll use the word expectation with his ex, which ended up printing off shirts, but ended up turning into a legal matter for us as well,
Right.
because she tried to make off with our money, and it caused me to pursue this person into the state of Massachusetts, tracking her down through various other resources, and then she ended up filing a restraining order against me, completely false, by the way. It had nothing to do with anything. But, you know, I'm into this, again, because I hadn't known them since they were 8 to 10 years old.
Right.
I don't know really what I'm into at this point. This all started because we were cousins, and it was, hey, do you know this is what Tyler's girl does? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. But if she makes T-shirts, we'll go with somebody that can meet the price point. And that's, as you know, that's how this started. And next thing you know, we're in this legal affair where I'm chasing this chick all the way back to Massachusetts, and all I want is our money back.
Right.
Or actually, what we wanted and fought for a number of times were to get the sweatshirts, and the T-shirts that we were after. But it, as you know, it ends up turning into this year-long battle chasing this person down, and now she's still paying us back after well, we started this back in, I think, July or August of last year.
Yeah, it's been over a year.
And so that finally get her pinned down in the courtroom, and the courts end up finding this person guilty. But what was amazing about this individual to me was everything, and I do mean everything short of my name, was a lie. And I could not believe how crazy this was. Now, mind you, while we're going through this, I don't know who's to blame, right? All I hear is now these two are on a split. I know we've got $4,000 tied up in this individual for T-shirts, and I'm like, this is not going to end well. And Tyler was like, no, dude, she's cool. Everything's going to be cool. And I'm like, Tyler, listen, I've been through this with relationships when they go south, and it never ends cool. And he kept defending her, by the way. He kept saying, listen, she's going to take care of it. She's just going through a minute right now and blah, blah, blah. So you were legitimately
100%.
defending and protecting her.
I went to bat for her for sure in the beginning.
Correct.
Obviously, that all changed.
Correct.
Well, so yeah, now I mean, so Eric's known you for a number of years. You're a stand-up guy. I know, people look at you, you're tattooed, you're a big dude, you're tall, you look like a mean dude, And I've been talking to you for the last hour. You're one of the nicest guys I've met. It's like you're very straightforward. You seem very genuine and honest.
So I want to be fair here. So you
right.
said a number of years. It's literally been a year. Now, I had gone fishing with Justin, his brother,
Yeah.
about a year and a half ago. That was the first time. I think it was July or August, maybe the year before. And when the split happened, I didn't know who to trust. I mean, in all fairness, I didn't know what to believe, or
Right.
you're
That's
hearing
right.
stories from two different people. So I took a back seat, and I literally said, "All right, I don't know what's right, what's wrong here. I'm gonna sit back and kind of."
Well, we had a business relationship that had nothing to do with Tyler.
Correct.
We were dealing with
nothing to do with Tyler.
his girlfriend, and so in the meantime, so take us back. So you get this running with the law on Friday, but this is an ongoing thing that you've been dealing with for well over a year.
Oh yeah, it
So
hasn't stopped.
When did things go south? You said you've been together for, well, first of all, you have a full-time job.
Yeah,
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a union pipe fitter.
Pipe fitter.
Yeah.
So you make good money. You got a steady income. You provide for yourself. You've got things. You've got vehicles. You've got places to live.
Yep.
Everything. You've got everything going for you.
Yeah.
So you're with this woman for 20 plus years.
Yeah,
And-
around 19, 20 years.
Okay, and you have a child. We said.
Yep.
So when did things take a turn?
So things never really actually got bad, right? Like, so the relationship kind of like just died, right?
Okay.
It had been stagnant for like a little while. I wasn't happy, and I had kind of molded over for a little bit, and I thought on it for a few weeks, and I just came home one day and I'm like, I'm done. Like, I don't want to be in the relationship anymore. We need to figure things out. And there was nothing like there was nothing bad going on between us at the time. It was just like we were roommates, and it had been like that for a while. Like,
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, I'm not happy, right? I don't want to come home, sit in my driveway in my car for a half an hour before I walk in the door just to get ready to not
yeah.
be happy, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
I said, I don't need to live like this. So we need to figure something out. And I walked right in the house and I said, listen, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And we need to figure things out. Let's try to do this the best way we can. I'm like, I was totally reasonable out of the beginning. Like, obviously she was upset. And I told her, like, take as much time as you need. We'll figure this out. Let's make this work. Like, I'll explain everything to my son, and we'll figure it out. And
So it's not like you said you got to get out of the house, or
no, I didn't kick her out. I told her, yeah, take as much time as you need.
No big argument.
Like,
There
I'll
was
help
no
you
fight.
where I can help you.
Right.
And like, she was upset. Don't get me
Sure.
wrong. Like,
Yeah.
to drop that on her, I walked in, and like, obviously, like, for me, you're in a relationship that long. That's a hard thing to do, right? To
Right.
walk in and tell somebody you were in a relationship with that long to their face, like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision, but I did it for myself, you know? So,
Can I stop you there? All right, I want to something I keyed in on today, and I had asked you last year sometime. There is an age disparity
oh yeah.
between you two.
Yeah.
How old were you when you met?
I had just turned 18. I believe she's 26. Yeah, 26 or
Okay.
27.
So there,
Yeah.
there's, for lack of better words here, I'm sure there was a fascination with that. Number one, there's
Yeah.
a, I don't know. I don't know.
Dude, I was a teenager, man. Like,
Right.
yeah, if it had two legs and walked, like, I was probably on it, you know.
Right.
And it was just
That's being
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, as was I. I was a hound, and I tell
Yeah.
people that. Look, I wasn't the good boy. I was by no chance a
But I mean,
choir boy.
Definitely locked down early, you know. Like I jumped into the family role with her real fast. Like she had a 4-year-old at the time, and like I had moved out of my parents' house and I moved in with her and immediately took on that role, right? Like she had a 4-year-old son and I helped take care of him. Like I went in, I did a lot of stuff for him.
Financially, the
Everything.
house.
Oh yeah, everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Did she work?
Yeah, she was working. I was a bouncer at a club at that time. I just got the job there. She worked there too. And that's how we met, was at a club that we worked together. And obviously like things change, like we got different jobs along the way, and yeah, that's where we met. So things were like, I did what I had to do like at an early age, so like yeah, I mean, I guess it was a little crazy there.
Well, right. So here you are, you're like you said, 18, even 20 years old, and you're dating someone 28 years old.
Yeah.
Again, there's a fascination thing there, and you're thinking, well, she's older, so there's some maturity. You're I'm sure you're kind of leaning on her maturity at that point.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Which I know now that I probably shouldn't have done. Because I believe that I was probably the more responsible at the time.
Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah,
my
oh
friend.
yeah, hindsight's 2020. Yeah. So I mean, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
That's just how.
Well, that's what makes you who you are, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we all live through our experiences, and some are good, some are bad, but we learn, we move on, and
Yeah.
hopefully we make better decisions. But so you dropped this bomb on her. And,
Dropped the bomb on her, and like I knew things were going to be a little rocky, right? Like to be expected, right? So I said like, we'll figure it out. I expected like, a little bit of bitterness, like, but I didn't expect what came after.
I mean, this thing came off the rails, right?
Oh, yeah. It was, we were chugging along, maybe hit a few bumps, and then that thing said, let's crash. Yeah, we're done. But yeah, things were fine for probably 3 or 4 months after we split.
So now, just so I can paint the picture here for myself and for our listeners, so you guys basically split. Now, are you still living together? Does she move out?
She moved out within a week. Yeah. Okay. So she found a place incredibly fast, was moved out within the week.
Okay.
And
now your son went with her as well at this point?
Yeah. So she works from home, so it was just an easy option, right?
Right.
Him to stay with her, and I would pick him up every day when I got home.
So right now things are still amicable.
Things are okay.
She doesn't like you.
Don't get me wrong. I was catching an attitude with a lot of things, but it was like I was still appeasing her at the time, right? Like she asked for things. Yeah, okay. And we kind of went on like that, and things changed when I started saying no.
Well, there was nothing. Yeah. If I understood this correctly, there was nothing left to take at that point.
So yeah, before I get to the next part here, but there was an agreement, like take whatever you want. Like I would rather you have everything you need. I told her these exact words. I was like, I would rather you have everything that you need. I'm like, I'll start over. I don't care. I'll figure it out. But I didn't want to see her struggle in the beginning, right? So I said, whatever you need help with, I'll do it. But I'll go without.
She's fully employed as well. And
Correct. Yeah,
she's making good money.
Yeah, she makes good.
So she's perfectly capable of
doing all this stuff,
financially
herself.
supporting herself.
But my son was going to be with her.
Sure. No,
for most
absolutely.
of the day, and I said, whatever. Like, take what you need. You're moving. You're the one moving out.
You're being more than generous.
Trying to.
Right.
Yeah.
And take what you need. If I understand this, your entire house was clear. Couches, Everything
yeah.
was the bed even gone?
The grills, I mean everything. The dust.
So like
The dust.
Yeah.
that's the first time she
No,
took dust
I
with
mean,
her.
I had some things that were like clearly mine. Like I think the only thing left in the house was a pot and pan set and a coffee table. But other than that, everything else I kind
I
of.
was gonna say my first divorce. I had one knife, a fork, a spoon, a
No, I had
saucer, a
silverware
plate,
too. Yeah, I definitely had
one
some
cup,
silverware. Yeah,
all my clothes and everything in the garage.
yeah,
And that was it.
yeah, yeah. I
So
could,
she wipes the house out.
yeah, which like whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like it definitely sucked because like I didn't have a bed
Oh man.
or a couch for like a little bit, but whatever. I figured all that out. Like I have a lot of good friends and stuff. People were willing to help me and like kind of get back.
Sure.
You know? But I mean, I'm still like I'm still rebuilding myself. Whatever. It takes time.
Yeah. I mean, 20 something years of your life, and it's pretty much wiped away in a week.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it wasn't exactly a week. Like so, there was like a process to all that stuff. Like she left with what she wanted, and then she started like hashing out like certain things or whatever. And before we could even get to the point, like like after like I gotta jump back here just so we're not skipping apart.
Sure.
So after we split, like 3 or 4 months goes by, right? And I was telling you guys I went on that vacation. I came back and it was Monday. It was the day that I was to pick up my son. And she had denied my son to me. And I was like, why? She's like, well, he just wants to spend the day with me. And I was like, it's my day or whatever. And I was like, all right, whatever. If he wants to spend the day with you, that's fine. So
So were the courts involved at this point?
courts
yet?
were not
So
involved.
this is
There
just
was
an
nothing.
agreement.
Like we were co-parenting for
Right.
several months before any of that happened.
So this is the first instance where she holds your son from you.
Yeah. So that's where that 3 or 4 months goes by. Like we kind of hash out stuff and like we were doing the co-parenting thing. Like everything was working. We had a schedule. Like I saw my son every day after work. I had him whenever I wanted on the weekends. It was just a whenever. Like I got to see him all the time. You know, everything. It was easy. You know,
And you took him often because you
every day
you have a
every
very
single
close
day,
relationship.
every single day. Like she only moved right down the road from me. So
Okay.
on my way home, I would just grab him and then we go and spend the night together. And I bring him back at night, whatever, no big deal. Or run around to his football or whatever. You know.
Yeah. So you
Just
want to be
doing life.
involved.
Yeah. I was
You're a good
heavily
dad.
involved. Yeah. And I took him most weekends. Like if she was doing something, whatever, I would take him like all the time, anytime I could. And like I said, I went away. Mind you, this is about 3 or 4 months out. I went away for like 4 days.
Yeah.
I left on like a Thursday. So before that Thursday, there was like a minor like argument over like a table. Like she wanted this table that she left in my house, and I was like, I'm leaving. Like, can you wait till Monday to get it? She's like, I need it. And I'm like, you need a table that bad? And she's like, I need it. Leave it at the end of the driveway. I'll come and get it. I was like, no, you're not coming to the house. I'm like, I'll drop it off to you. So I dropped it off to her and she was sitting there waiting for me. There was like a little argument, right? Nothing crazy. Like I was just like, I didn't want to entertain it, you know?
Yeah.
So she went off on me a little bit and she literally was like, you have no idea what I could do to you. We were together for 20 years. You have no idea what I could do to you. And I left. I said, do whatever you want. And I hopped in my truck and I left. And little did I know, I found out exactly what she could do to me the hard way, you know?
It's not funny, but
it's not funny.
no.
It's not funny. Like, I
No.
mean, I'm still standing now, which I'm glad I can laugh about it. But that Sunday, I had called to arrange picking up my son, and that was the first time she denied him to me. And we figured it out. There were some things we were hashing out, like she was supposed to sign some vehicle titles and stuff like that. We were still sorting our things out, our separation out, and we had figured all that out. And I had agreed to let him stay with her. Like now I know why she wanted him to stay with her, because come that Monday, I'm at work and we were on a shared like insurance policy. Like we were hashing things out. Like I was swapping the phones over because we were on a shared phone plan. So we got to separate phones. Like she wasn't happy about that too. So then she started giving me a hard time. And my car and truck were on her policy. So I was like, listen, I'm gonna still run by and meet up with you today to have you sign the titles and stuff like that. That way I can put them on my own policy and everything, and then we'll be done.
Yeah.
That's the last bit of everything, you know. I was like, and I'll run a truckload of all your stuff to your shop. I had offered. I was like, you don't have to come pick it up. I was like, me and my brother will run it right to you, and I'll put it wherever you want it.
Yep.
And she was like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, because I was trying to get a roommate at the time, and it was like filling up like my basement, and like there was a bunch of stuff in my garage and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I just want it out.
Yeah, you're trying to move on.
It's been months, dude.
Yeah.
So like at this point, like my house is not a storage facility. I'm like, I just want to get it out of here. I want to move on with my life. Well, we didn't even get to that point because, you know, the registration insurance got canceled on the car. I drove home, and as I'm driving home,
But how did the registration and insurance get canceled?
Yeah, she canceled it on me while I was at work. I had went online, like she had started ignoring me, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go online and check because I'm like, I feel like she's being petty right now because we were talking about. She's like, no, you're gonna do it right now, right? Like me getting the car registered and insured. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Insurance company's waiting for the title, but we're gonna handle this today. I'll do it today.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like anytime I appeased her, it got worse. So I ended up checking online just out of curiosity, saw the insurance was canceled. So whatever. I ended up driving home like that.
So I got to understand this. How was she paying the insurance?
She was on the policy.
No, we split bills and stuff. Yeah, okay. We paid.
But she knew you were at work.
Yeah.
So while you're at work, you have the vehicle. She cancels it while you're at work.
She straight up asked me if I was at work. Yeah, I know why she asked me.
Now you know.
We're getting to that point. Yeah. So she wanted to know where I was, obviously. So I'm driving home, and there was a cop waiting there for me. And I'm assuming that, okay, she called it in because she canceled the insurance on me, whatever. I'm like, I'll deal with it. I'll explain the situation.
So the cops knew.
Cops knew they were waiting for me.
She set you up, 100%.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
How else would they know?
So I literally, cop follows me, and I pull out turn onto my road. 2 or 3 more cops start following that cop, and I'm like, I just pulled over.
I submit.
Yeah, I submit. I already know what's going on. They're here for me. There's no way that there's a train of cops following me. That's not a coincidence.
But you did your due diligence. You knew that she had canceled, so you already knew.
I already knew. I was like, if they ran this plate, they know I have no registration insurance. So I just pulled over. I looked out the window and I said, did my ex call you? And they said, yes. I said, my car's not registered and insured. They're like, we're not even here for that. And I'm like, well, what are you here for? And they're like, she filed a restraining order on you. And I was like, for what? Like, for what? And they're like, we have no idea because obviously the courts don't tell the police officers. There's no communication there. All they know is that there's a restraining order, abuse prevention order, harassment or anything. That's all they know. And they know that they have to pick you up for it.
Wow.
So I was right down the road from my house. I automatically knew what that was. I said, I'm about to lose my rights, about to get stripped of me real quick. And I said, I already know what you guys got to do. So my house is right there. Let's go. And I had about 10 police officers go in and empty out my firearm safe. Took everything that I had.
So I want to get into this portion of it, but just to be clear, you had a minor verbal argument with her on Thursday before you left.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
You came home
I didn't
Sunday.
think anything about it. Like it was just like stupid, just petty bickering, and I'm like, she just giving me a hard time to give me a hard time. Like nobody gets that upset over a table, you know?
Yeah. So
and
then
I dropped him. My plan was to just throw him in the front yard and leave, but she was sitting there waiting for me.
So
I
she
don't
was
want to
ready.
talk to her.
So now then she withholds your son from you when you come back on the Monday.
Correct.
Then you go to work. The insurance and the registrations get canceled on your vehicles.
Correct.
Obviously, she calls the police department and lets them know that you're driving an unregistered, uninsured vehicle. They're waiting for you.
Yep.
But in the meantime, she files a restraining order against you.
Correct.
And this is where it all really begins.
Yeah. That's
But they took his property.
So
without any kind of substantiation
that's the way
on
it
anything.
works. Yeah, they file a restraining
But
order.
but
and
that's a violation of any due process.
correct. Yeah, that's the unfortunate reality of a restraining order, because especially like there was no abuse or any violence like
Ever.
explained in that affidavit at all. There was none of it. But that's why I said there's a lack of communication between the courts and
The police.
the police. But it doesn't matter. It's still an abuse prevention order, right? So
But my question would be: is there anything in the legal history record between you two as far as violence,
Zero.
arguments,
Nothing.
domestic?
No domestic
I have
issues.
no domestic issues. I have no criminal record.
20
There's
years.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Not a single thing.
And now all of a sudden you break up with this chick.
And I become the worst person.
Public
but
enemy
she didn't
number
state
one.
that though. So clearly the affidavit, as I found out later, I had to wait for my court date to find that out. It was just stated that I was suicidal. I have a bunch of guns, and she doesn't know what I'm going to do with them.
So here's a woman out of the blue, goes to the court, files a restraining
With
order,
a blanket
and
statement.
just
Yeah.
says he's suicidal, he has guns, and I
Correct.
don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And immediately you're stripped of your rights.
Correct, and they categorize like a suicidal person as they categorize that as like, almost like a violent threat.
Okay.
So that's kind of where they pair that up. I'm like, how does that constitute an abuse prevention order?
Right.
And they're like, I was explained that it falls under that.
So this is where I'd like to, and we're going to get into the Constitution and learning the rights of us U.S. citizens. And I don't understand how the state of Massachusetts can just go and throw this law, or obviously there's some kind of law in the state where if you get a restraining order put against you, they automatically come and seize your firearms.
Like I understand that aspect, right? So that's erring on the side of caution, right? Like somebody files a abuse order or a restraining order against you, and just for precaution, right? Okay, they remove the firearms, but the issue comes when you go to court, right?
Right.
And they uphold that restraining order still.
So
right?
even though you pled your case,
yeah, and you don't get a trial, you don't get any of that. The judge can literally, a family court judge or a criminal court judge can just be like, okay, all they got to do is tell a crazy story with no evidence, and if it's crazy enough, the judge will be like, I'm going to protect myself, and we're going to extend the order.
So you're
So it gets
stripped of
extended
due
for a year.
process.
Stripped of due process, 100%.
Right.
And
But that's where this now becomes a legal problem. I don't care if
Right.
it's family court, Supreme
Sure.
Court, or what. Everybody's entitled to these
correct.
rights.
That's the problem.
Just a comment here on, I know we're on Facebook Live. I know we're doing our podcast, but Kevin Brown, he's pretty well versed in constitutional law and especially Second Amendment. But he says both Massachusetts and Connecticut have red flag laws, and he believes it's a fully unconstitutional way for the government to seize your weapons.
Correct, and that's basically what happened. You know,
Right.
it's like they didn't red flag me essentially, but erring on the side of caution. Okay, with no justifiable reason, right?
Right.
Like I have no history of anything.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing.
Clean. Your record's clean.
Clean.
Yeah.
There's not. They didn't present a single bit of shred of evidence.
And I want to go back to this point, because even at this point, when I was talking to him and talking to her about our legal matters with 56Plus1, I didn't still at this point, I don't know who to believe. So just to put everything in a frame of reference, I'm listening to him. I hear what she says. I don't trust, or I honestly
Right.
don't trust either
you
one.
have no-
It's not that I don't trust you. I just don't know who to believe.
Right.
Right. At this point, at this juncture, when you're talking about this timeline, and as it's going down, you're going to get to this hair follicle testing thing, and I'm like, okay, this is going to really be the benchmark or the pivotal point. But go ahead, stay on this track, because we're going to get to that.
So they
Right.
come in, you take them to your house. Now they
Correct.
said they want to take your weapons.
Yeah, they took everything. They cleaned me out and whatever. I willingly gave them everything.
And you're a collector.
Yeah.
It's not like you just have these random street guns. You're a firearms collector.
Yeah.
You appreciate these. This is
It was a
of
hobby.
yours.
It was something I enjoyed doing it, and we collectively did it as a family.
Right.
And it was inherently used against me in court afterwards, with no history or anything. Right. So they take my firearms. We get there. that restraining order is in order now. It doesn't allow me communication with my son or anything like that. So I'm not allowed to talk to her, not allowed to talk to my son.
And based on what?
Based off
On
of,
her-
on her statement. Yeah.
It was just hearsay.
It was just hearsay. Yeah. It was just words saying, obviously it's a blanket statement, right? Like
Right.
he's suicidal. He has guns and I don't know what he's going to do with them. Right. That's such a broad
Right.
statement. And they're like, okay, like,
That's how
it's-
dangerous this is.
yeah. And it's like, literally it was that easy for her. Boom. They sent that restraining order. They had me picked up.
Wow.
And there was nothing that happened, nothing that happened leading up to that.
So you're
I didn't understand it, right?
Right.
Like I didn't understand how this could be happening to me, but like I understand like also that the police have no idea either, right?
They're doing
so they
their
don't know why
job.
they're here. They're doing their job. For me to give them a hard time or try to even explain anything to them or try to defend myself means nothing, right?
Right.
So it's like it's just part of the process. I have to let them do what they got to do. And I was like, all right, I did nothing wrong. Like I'll have my day in court and we'll figure this out. So I wasn't too worried about it. Like I didn't have anything that was gonna make me look bad. There was no incidences, no nothing leading up to any of this. So now I'm not allowed to speak to my son. The restraining order allowed no communication there. No communication with her, obviously.
No, I mean,
I couldn't go to his school or anything. Like that was all off limits.
This is going to be, to me, that's the worst part of this whole deal.
Oh yeah, I freaked out for
Yeah.
sure. Like I was definitely upset about that. Especially like given the relationship me and my son have.
Right.
Like, we're super close.
Yeah.
And like, we did everything together constantly.
And
You know,
now
we
he's-
spent a lot of time.
now he's gone.
He's gone. Yeah.
One day he's gone.
Collectively all that stuff happening at the same time, like the split up was hard, right?
Right.
Deal with all that. I'm trying to get my life back on track. We're both starting over, right? It's a crappy situation for everybody involved. And you try to make it as easy as possible, right?
Right.
But now I have all of this stuff going on,
Yeah.
right? You stack it on top of that. Stack this on top of that. Stack this on top of it.
And in the meantime, you're still working. You're still
Still
trying to
working,
provide a living.
trying to
and-
do all this stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I'm definitely freaking out. Like I wasn't given permission to talk to my son for a month and a half at that point. And we went to court, but it didn't end there. Right.
So from the time the police came to your house, they told you had the restraining order against you. It was a month and a half before you actually
My
had to go
court
to
date.
court.
Yeah.
So you're 6 weeks with zero contact.
With zero contact. With my
No
son.
phone calls, no
No nothing.
access.
No, nothing.
You can't. Okay.
Yeah, correct. And within that 6 weeks, so there were some things that happened. I'll get to the court date here in a minute. So that restraining order was filed. Whatever. I'm waiting my time for my court date.
Right.
Approximately 2 weeks after, the restraining order, obviously I have no communication with her. I can't sort my vehicles out, right? They're both unregistered, uninsured. And she reports my car stolen. So now the state police come and they pick up my car.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I can't say anything about it because she has the title to it. And
This is why these laws or rules that they're making are unconstitutional.
like it's crazy, right? Like you could show them all the proof in the world of like, okay, the proof I bought the car, like proof of all the stuff I put on it, the parts I bought, the maintenance records, like all that. And they're like, she has the title. She's stealing this shit from you,
Right.
So now I have no vehicle.
So they come and take.
And
the
I didn't
car.
have a vehicle. I didn't have a vehicle at that point. Whatever. I was
Right.
borrowing somebody's vehicle because they
Right.
were. I couldn't put them on the road. I couldn't do anything with them. But state police call me. They're like, "We're coming to pick the car up," and it was at my buddy's place at the time. And the two states didn't communicate. My buddy's house is just over the line in Connecticut, and it was sitting there, and so my town came and talked to me about it. We hashed it out, and they're like, "All right." I'm like, "I'll just have whoever come and get the car. And they're like, okay, CT is gonna come pick up the car. I was like, all right. And I gave them the address and everything. And they go over there and they're like, you need to come here. And I'm like, for what? Like, well, you stole a vehicle. I said, no. I'm like, it's my car. I'm like, listen, there's just a whole messy situation going on right there. I was like, call my town and they'll explain everything to you. And they did. And they called me back and they're like, hey, yeah, we talked to your town and we sorted everything out. There's going to be no charges today. But we're taking the car. I said, okay, whatever. He goes,
stupid.
He goes, just a heads up. He goes, is this your truck here too? I said, yeah. He goes, she's trying to get that also.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I had the title for that. So
thank God.
Yeah. So that sat in limbo because it also had her name on it, obviously, because it was like
right
on her policy. So I couldn't do anything.
Chopping the legs out.
So the truck sat for several months. So
the only thing you had was the title, but you couldn't do anything.
I couldn't do anything
make it road legal.
because she had to sign it, and we weren't allowed. There was a restraining order, no communication. I couldn't unless I had to wait for my court date to even do that.
Yeah, so your hands are totally tied.
Yeah, totally tied. I have nothing, so I borrow a vehicle from somebody until I can sort out getting my own vehicle in the meantime. And wow, right? It's already a tough situation, right? I'm starting over. All this mess is going on. It's kind of chaos for me.
Yeah.
You know, my main priority is like I need to get to my son, right? And everything else I'll figure out as I go. And so we get to that first court date a little over a month later, and the judge grants me permission to see my son. Right? They question me. She comes in with this crazy story, right? Like, not even anything that was on the affidavit, right? She doesn't cite the affidavit once.
She's on to a new story.
Oh yeah, I automatically turn into an abusive person. Just said crazy stuff. You know,
we've skipped over something I think is important here. She leaves your house back in August, September of last year. Moves in with another dude.
Yeah.
Immediately.
No, she didn't move in with him. She was in a relationship within the first week of her moving out.
Right. Isn't she engaged?
Oh yeah,
within
less
2
than
weeks?
a month. Yeah, it was. I think it was like 3 weeks later.
She's very friendly.
I went. Hold on. So let's say August. So what? That was roughly. No, hold on. Yeah, roughly August, right? Before September, she was engaged. Because, and we were still talking at that point, basically, you know. We had communicated all the way up until like October when the restraining order was in.
Right.
You know, so yeah, she's telling me, like, she literally picked me up from a doctor's appointment because I needed a ride because obviously
because she stole your car. Did she pick you up in
your
car?
No, that was after. No, that was afterwards. No, that was afterwards. No. The restraining order wasn't in effect then, but I wasn't supposed to drive. Obviously, I broke my hand. I got surgery on it, and they didn't want me to drive. She's like, I'll pick you up. Wow. So that was like early on after we split. I'll pick you up, whatever. I was like, cool, that's fine. Like, I really didn't want her to do it. She's like, she offered, like, I'll do it, and I was like, all right, fine. So she's dropped me off in my driveway, and she's like, I just want you to know that I'm getting engaged.
That's right.
And I laughed.
And
I laughed. And I was like, cool. Yeah, like, I don't care. Do whatever you gotta do. And yeah, like I said, like, things were, I feel like that I don't know, I can't say for sure, obviously, but I feel like that was like just like a jealousy ploy thing, right?
Oh,
like,
I'm sure.
After we split, it was just like something to say, you know, like, why would you?
Yeah.
But no response makes people like that crazy.
Yeah.
Makes them go to extremes, which is what occurred thereafter. That's why I wanted to go back to that moment.
Yeah.
And also,
yeah, so it's definitely like one of those things that like just shows the character, right?
Sure.
Like,
of course.
It's crazy because she had no idea that I was gonna leave. Like, maybe she had like an idea the 2 weeks leading up, right?
Right.
But for me to drop that on her, literally came home from work one day. I said it, I was done, and we need to figure things out. And within a week, she's telling me, I have found the love of my life.
Wow.
And I'm like,
It's amazing.
I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah, right.
I'm like, how is that even possible? Right? Like, dude, like
Tinder?
now that we've been split, like, and I've been dating, like actively dating, like I talked to a woman for like 6 months, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
She's
I don't even
engaged.
like you.
Yeah. She's engaged.
Yeah. And for you to be like, oh, yeah, it was posted on social media,
Oh, it's
like straight
Facebook
up, like,
official,
look at,
huh?
look at showing the ring and everything. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I hadn't even told my family at that point that we split. Nobody knew.
They're like, you know your girlfriend's engaged to
yeah,
another guy?
No, your girlfriend's engaged. I'm like, what in the hell's going on? So I got my friends, my family calling me. They're all messaging me like, man, what is going on?
What's up?
Like, dude, I mean,
We're a throuple.
God, like,
A throuple. There you go.
I'm a firm believer in, like, you know what? You break off a relationship like that, like, take time to figure yourself out, right?
Well,
Like,
and-
there's going to be time, right?
And
Like,
you got children involved.
correct. Like, right? So it was crazy. So, but right before, oh no, so this was after the restraining order, right? Like, I got like people sending me like, they're still in awe, right? Like, everyone's like, man, this is crazy.
She's crazy.
Like, what is going on? So obviously it's like October, right? Halloween's like coming up, and I didn't get to spend Halloween with my son, obviously because of the restraining order, and or Thanksgiving for that matter.
Man.
But I'm getting sent like the seasonal photo shoot of like this dude and my son wearing matching outfits.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, are you serious?
Dude,
I didn't even know this guy.
I have a lot of respect for you because I
This
don't
is
know
disrespectful.
how many people could hold it together, and you did.
Oh, I get told that, like, dude, everybody, they're like, dude, like,
Did you?
if there was ever inspiration to keep going, it's you, because
Yeah.
like, you just taking this on the chin the entire time.
Yeah, but
and you
that's-
just keep moving forward.
That's
you know?
the surface, right? And you and I
Yeah.
have gotten into conversations to where it's becoming, and this is why we've got to pursue legal action to prevent this, and we got to make change to the legal system, because if it's not for you and your inspiration, if you will, to say, all right, look, I'm just going to wake up another day and keep going. You've taken many hits, and we haven't even got through half of them yet.
Yeah, we're still in the first couple months.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And it's incredible how many hits you've taken and not responded to, where I think anybody, and I
Yeah,
do
would
mean
lose it,
anybody,
right?
would have at minimum PTSD from
Sure.
what the legal system and the police departments and everybody involved has done to this human being, all at the discretion of hearsay of another individual,
Right.
whom of which I would personally ask that she get a psych eval.
100%.
And
yeah, and that's been requested, but without other entities getting involved, maybe like a GAL or something like that. That's I can't request that.
but that doesn't make any
but
sense.
because-
How can she request
Because
it?
of the restraining order. So
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, because now if you're the court and you're legitimately trying to get down to the bottom of something, anybody can file a restraining order, but that restraining order has to be legal. It has to be truthful.
correct.
Right. So now, in order to get to the truth, the court should be trying to seek the truth. And that is the basis of law, right? To get down to what the truth of the matter is. And they're not doing that. They're subjecting him and only him to
Right.
it. And we haven't even gotten to the drug testing
Yeah,
yet.
you would think logically speaking, like that
Well-
that would make sense, right? But to them, right, the minute somebody, it doesn't matter who it is, the guy, the girl, whoever gets to it first is the one that has you by the balls.
Right.
essentially, right?
I
That you
don't
have
think
gained-
I don't think a guy can submit a restraining order.
absolutely can. Yeah.
Okay, I'd like to see the
But you have
historical
to have a little more
evidence.
substance to yours,
Right.
right? Like
right.
proof of drug use or something
Right.
like that. There's got to be substance, right?
Right.
A woman can walk in and, for the most part, be like, "He raised his voice at me. I'm scared."
I'm scared.
You know,
for-
and
yeah.
that's all.
Scared
it
for my
takes.
safety.
Yeah, you know, and like that's the unfortunate reality is like you know, you get pushed to your limit, right? Like it's intentional, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want that reactive situation where you know you're pushed so far that you react, and then they have a justifiable
Right.
reason to say, "Look, this is who he is."
So it's like the
And
story that Killdozer guy.
I never gave her that,
Right.
right?
You've held your cool.
Yeah, I don't argue, right? So it's, I mean, I'll argue, but I'm not gonna yell.
Right. You're not going to lose it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lose it.
But that was one of the quotes of the Killdozer guy when he said when reasonable men are pushed to do unreasonable things.
Exactly.
You know?
And it's like you're put in a tough situation, man. Like for anybody to be put in that situation, to have that amount of things happen in that short amount of time, right? Like your life is changing. You can't see your son. Like you got a restraining order. Now there's criminal charges against you.
Right.
You lose your vehicle, right? That's
Everything.
your way to get to work, right?
Right.
Like everything's just got kind of falling apart. Like it's super messy.
Off of a lie.
Off of a lie, correct. And it's a tough thing because you sit there and you're like, you just sit here and you're like, why is this happening to me? And you don't understand it. Especially like, don't get me wrong, there's people who deserve things
Sure.
like that, like, or they've done things. But I genuinely like tried to do right. And I tried the best I could because I knew that it was going to be like kind of a messy situation, especially with a child involved, you know, like you want to try to do things as good as you can to like kind of cushion that, right?
Sure.
Like it's not my life get flipped upside down like hers did to my son's also, right? Like that's a big change for him. And he's used to living with his mom and dad, and that's changing literally overnight. And that's a tough situation for him, you know? So yeah, in her eyes, I guess, why not make it tougher? Right.
Yeah, and here you are just keeping
Oh, and
your
she's
cool.
done that to
Yeah,
me too. So
yeah.
that's been consistent.
We've seen it firsthand, and I can't
It
imagine.
just makes no sense.
No,
to me,
it
you know?
doesn't.
So it's like, I mean, I'm an active father, and I'm very willing. Like I would have done anything for honestly either one of them. You know, things could have been so different, but whatever. The damage is done.
Well, you're dealing with an irrational person.
Correct,
is what
right? And
happens.
I learned that, like, I tried to like reason with her,
Right.
and there's just you can't do that,
Yeah.
right?
No, you can't.
No matter how much you cater to the situation, no matter how good you try to do, it's never enough. You know, you're always gonna get just railroaded, right? Like it's gonna be like it's almost the more you appease them, the worse it gets,
Right.
you know. But also at the same time, when you stop, it gets worse too, you know.
Yeah, you're back in
It's
a corner.
that
You
it's
can't
that
do
whole
right.
it's that whole
Right.
control thing.
There's
you know?
no answer.
Yeah, it's just to get you to jump through hoops, right? And that's all this whole entire situation has been this entire time, is just make me do things I don't want to
She's
do.
trying to make your life hell.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentionally. And
Yeah.
that's proof with just even the canceling the insurance.
Right. So this is where the court needs to step up. So, you know, at this point,
And they see this all the time, right? Like they have to. Like this is kind of like they even have a term for it, like silver bullet divorces or custody battles, right? There's a term, so they know it happens. Like it's so common.
Yeah.
And I think the numbers are like pretty staggering that like almost 80% of restraining orders are false, right? Especially when there's a custody battle involved or a divorce. You know, you go from being the quote unquote like perfect hubby or the perfect man, the best man ever, right? To literally the minute y'all decide to split, now you're abusive.
You got mental health problems.
Yeah, now you're crazy. You're a drug addict. You're all this stuff. And it's like, I feel like the courts need to recognize that stuff, right? Like take that into consideration, right? Like automatically question any restraining order that's filed after a custody battle or after a divorce, right? So that's a huge red flag, and they don't care, right? Because you know what that does? That keeps you in the court system.
You're
right?
there.
You're there.
They're getting paid.
They have you by the balls, you know, and they will drag it out and drag it out and drag it out and drag it out. And that's why people get drugged through the mud.
Yeah.
You know, it's a tough thing. And like the restraining order literally gives one person all the power. And it's like they can do so much damage without spending a dime. And all while you have to deplete everything you've ever worked for in your life to try to defend yourself against something that never happened. Try proving something that never happened.
Right.
Like you have to defend yourself. There's no evidence.
nothing.
They're taking her word, but I have to show evidence that it didn't happen, something that never happened.
It's not just that you had to show evidence. You had to go through these other hoops.
Yeah, there was no trial. There's no nothing. Yeah, there's no due process. It's just
But there was no hoops for her other
No hoops,
than
yeah.
her to make a statement
correct.
with no substantiation of any of it. And therein lies the legal problem right from the get. It's okay to make a statement if that statement is true or at least can be validated. Let's say even 50% of that statement can be validated.
Right.
outside of your name that she's naming on the document, you should not be put through that, right? In order for a restraining order to be in effect, I get that the fact that they have a TRO, a temporary restraining order.
Right. It's an emergency order, basically.
And
Right,
that's
until you
exactly
can
what
be-
mine was, but it was extended after the first court.
Right, but extended based on what?
Nothing.
Hey,
Her
that's my
statement,
point.
yeah.
But that's my point. So at that point, okay, I understand the TRO. That's fair.
Sure.
Nobody knows. You go before a judge, and it should be heard.
Yes.
Now you have your
And
due
the
process.
the burden of proof is on the accuser. Right?
That is
So,
100%
yeah.
our law. In
And
the United States.
no proof.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like
And there's no
back
repercussion
end,
for her.
Like I would understand, right? Like if they looked at it and they said, okay, this dude has a history of violence, he has a history of drug use, he has a history of anything, right?
Right.
That they could kind of pin it to and maybe be like, all right, maybe she's telling the truth. But there's nothing.
There's nothing.
There's nothing. And everybody has said that. They're like, dude, your record is like super clean.
And
Like you passed every drug test. I passed a hair follicle. That goes back 90 days. I wasn't doing drugs.
right.
She said I was a drug addict and all this stuff. Like
And there's no
It was
repercussions
insane.
for her lying.
no
Why?
repercussions. Absolutely. And we can go through all this, like, and I'm not the only one that's ever had to deal with this, but like there's people who have literally lost everything, right?
Yeah.
Like they wound up homeless or they still can't see their kids because the accusations were so crazy. And it's just insane to me that the courts keep hearing this. And a lot of things would change if due process was involved.
Sure.
Right? Like I don't understand how you can charge somebody with criminal charges with no
With no
hearing,
proof.
with no
Right.
hearing. Yeah. Without your day in court. You don't ever get it. It's just, yeah, we believe her. And that's just to keep the machine rolling. That's all that is. That
It's
gets
all
more
about-
more court dates, keeps the lawyers going. Family court's dirty, man. It's dirty.
Let's talk about the lawyers and how much you have spent.
They're just as complicit, man. Like,
100%.
They talk to the judges. They know what's going on. And they're really like, okay, we can drag this out for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Keep me going. Keep my practice and business. And it's big money for the people involved.
I'll take a Pepsi.
You want a Pepsi? Yeah, it's big money. That's the way it rolls. Do you want one or you good?
Now, I used to not believe that because I was like, well, what do you mean by big money? Because all these
You
people
don't know
are
it till
state
you've had to
employees.
deal with it. Like it's crazy.
Right, because it justifies their job. And unfortunately, that's government in its entirety, right? Justify their position. Once they create a government job, now that government employee who's getting paid a hefty salary is now going to do everything they can to justify their position. And even though they're outside the bounds of the law, which is why we're doing this podcast, is to bring this back within the bounds of the law. Ultimately, laws can change and court systems can change if people stand up. But it's going to take people to stand up.
Yeah, I believe like due to social media, there's going to be a big turn in this eventually because I'm starting to see more and more people. There's more groups. There's more people standing up. There's more people able to communicate
Right.
around the U.S. Based off this matter. And it's not just this state or local state. It's everywhere, right? Like family court and divorce courts and stuff like that. It's a super messy place and it's the same story all the way around,
Yeah.
like everybody gets away with the same stuff, all while, I mean, there's some legitimate cases and stuff like that, but the
100%.
majority of them are just, you leave somebody, you usually don't like them,
Right.
So it's like
normal
they need to
people-
take that in accountability. It's it's two people who are mad at
Right.
each other, right? Like, and they're willing to do anything to bury each other. And right, like,
Well, wait a minute. Were you doing anything to bury her?
no. So that's the thing is like, because I initiated it, I feel like, right? Like I had made the decision long ago. Like I was done. So I had made peace with that fact, but I dumped it on her. And now she loses the life that she had with me.
But that's
Yeah.
still
So now
doesn't give the
that
reason.
turns into a big like
Right.
FU situation, right? Like
She's out to get you.
now she's moved out on her own. She doesn't have the same life. Like
But
I get it.
You're
It
being
sucks.
sensible and reasonable in your logic.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to stay with somebody if you don't like them
Correct.
anymore, and that's
and
fair.
That's what I never understood about the whole entire thing too, because it's like you get mad at me because I was honest with myself. I had a conversation with myself and said, I'm not happy. I'm going to change the situation, right? I'm not happy. I'm going to do something about it.
I'll share my opinion. So let's rewind back to the beginning of all this. You were 18. She was 26. And knowing what I know about this person now, I don't think the manipulative person changed.
Oh, no.
I think it was manipulation from the onset.
Oh, I'm sure there was.
Yeah.
You've been a good bread earner from the age of 18. I mean, you've told me something about your jobs and used to do
I've
some
always
pretty
been a super hard worker, a hustler, man. Like
High
I
earner.
always worked super hard, man. Like
You were-
I
you
would
were
do
making
whatever
good
it
dollars.
takes. I was making all right money. Like I don't want to say it was good money, obviously. Like I was
Well,
I was 18,
relative.
like starting in the workforce, you know, like
Right.
But you're supporting yourself.
but I was supporting myself. Like we made it work. Like we weren't living like a crazy life, but we were getting by, you know.
Yeah.
Like we were doing the thing, you know. Obviously, like as time went on, I worked myself up to a better job,
Right.
you know. I hustled my way. I bought my first house in my early 20s and stuff like that. So
Nice.
like I did it, you know. And
Tyler, we are at about an hour, and I think we want to run this on a couple episodes, and we want to keep the episodes to an hour. I know I brought us back a couple times. Rich, do you remember where, or do you, Tyler, do you remember where I
yeah,
brought you back at?
we were at the restraining order and stuff like that, and the court dates.
Yeah.
that-
So the judge had just given you visitation rights. back
Correct.
to your
Yeah.
son. So I mean, we'll keep recording and we'll split it up.
Okay, if that's what you want to do,
yeah,
or
yeah.
we keep recording, it doesn't matter.
For sure.
So now-
you still comfortable? You
Yeah, I'm
keep
good.
this rolling?
We'll keep rocking. Yeah, we'll get this whole thing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know that how long we wanted to go. All right. So you said where the judge is at. This is the first restraint.
Yeah,
First part of
so,
the restraint.
the
So
first
6
co-
weeks without seeing your son.
Correct.
Now you're back. You're in the
We're
first
in the court. Yeah,
hearing.
We're in the first court hearing, and
That's why Rich is a manager. He's got a good memory.
yeah. So yeah, it's tough sometimes because there's a whole lot. Like there's a lot of stuff. Like there's like the big stuff that happened, and then there's so much little things that happen in between there, right? Like it was just crazy. But yeah, so that first court date comes up. No communication with my son for about 6 weeks, and I'm in court, and obviously the judge rules to extend that restraining order, right? So that's for a year now.
So why?
So the story that was told, like there was like some crazy. She went in with a crazy story. Like my jaw was on the floor. I couldn't believe it. There was talks of like domestic violence and like other crazy things. Like
Talks. No proof still.
Yeah, no proof. Like she said, I put a gun to some kid's head and like just crazy stuff. Like that I abused her and there was never that.
Yeah.
Right, like. I left. I was the one that left.
Right. She's trying to burn you.
Yeah.
Now wait a minute. When did this gun to the other person's head supposedly happen?
Who knows? I have no idea. Yeah, there was
But
no.
she doesn't feel uncomfortable with you at this point. That's my whole point.
Right.
I just put a gun to somebody's head.
I'll still stay with him. He's
that's-
cool.
This guy's he's pretty good.
So does the judge let you tell your side of the story? Do you get to
Yeah,
speak? How does that work?
So no. All I did was get questioned, and the majority of the questions were pertaining around my firearms collection. And I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Like these are all legal. I was like, if they were illegal, the cops would have done something about it right there.
Right.
You know, like they were super cool about it. Like everything was super easy. Obviously, I have firearms license.
They still
right?
took them though.
They still took them, yeah. But it was like she pled her case. She told her story. They didn't ask me my side at all. They never once asked me what my side of the story was. I had to sit there and answer the questions. And my lawyer's like, listen, this is clear as day a scorned woman, right? That's all this is. And like, there's no substance here. There's no nothing. Right. And the judge is like, well, we have to err on the side of caution. And we're going to grant the extension, and that's for a year. So now I have this restraining order for a year, right? Like she's got the control.
Yeah.
Right. Now I go through every court battle, every court date with this restraining order. So now I'm basically staring down the barrel the whole entire time. So I have to walk on eggshells with our communication. So they set up a path of communication for us because they're like, okay, you're allowed to, it was only by text message at this point. You're allowed to text message pertaining to your son, right? And they granted me permission to see my son on her discretion. All right. So I get out of court that day. I immediately message her. I said, hey, I want to see my son. Can I see him this weekend? And she was like, no, let's organize this between the lawyers. And I said, okay, so you want my lawyer to contact your lawyer, and then we figure out like a date so I can see my son. So I'm like, I'll contact my lawyer. I called her immediately. I said, hey, get a hold of her lawyer, whoever it is, and let's set up, communicate back and forth with her so I can see my son. I want to see my son. It's been too long. I want to see him. I want to talk to him. Anything. And she did not have a family court lawyer at the time. So my lawyer is trying to track down whoever, right? And this went on for another month.
So you still didn't have contact?
No communication. Right?
Oh my God. So now you're going on 2.5 months.
Yeah, 2.5 months.
The court says you can see your son at her discretion.
At her discretion.
And she still holds him from you for
another month.
And
that right there is a violation.
So I had another court date, right? So so at that first court date, the judge says, obviously we have to file a custody agreement. And my lawyer was already prepared for that. I had got my lawyer. I want to say, dude, I was trying to track a lawyer down for weeks, dude. I couldn't get anybody that could make my court date. I took the first lawyer that I could get in there, and I found her 3 days before my court date.
Wow.
Right? To try to defend me on a criminal. And I got a family court lawyer defending me on a criminal case, which is like not good. Right? Like, so at least I went in there with some representation and like she could kind of guide me in some manner, you know, but it was not the best situation, right? Like she's not going to, she's used to dealing with family court deals. It's not criminal
family law.
Yeah,
she's not a criminal
lawyer.
Yeah.
So,
meanwhile, you're shelling out cash.
I'm shelling out cash.
By this point, have you been picked up by the police in between this?
Not at that point yet.
Okay.
Yeah, not at this point.
Because
So
this gets wild.
yeah. So,
I swear he was arrested every week.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed.
no, it wasn't that bad, but yeah, there were some situations there.
So they want a parenting plan. Your lawyer's ready to
Correct.
to
So
present
we
one.
file the form it is.
Yeah.
Like she complains that you took me to family court. It's like, no, I wasn't allowed to see my son for 2.5 months. Of course,
Right.
I'm gonna file something because I want to see my son.
Of course.
Like she's acting like she was the victim. Like you did this, and I'm like, I didn't file a restraining order on myself.
Right.
Like, come on, you know, like this is dumb, and so we file for custody, right, and we get a hearing in a month, right, and I'm not allowed communication at all at that point, and we're talking back and forth, and I forget. So we had set up the pathway of communication after that. I want to say, how did it go down? Yeah, we had been communicating, and I forget what it was. Oh, I was talking about my son's therapy sessions, and like somehow like that got pushed into a violation of the restraining order. So I was communicating. I was like, listen, like he didn't need therapy before the restraining order situation. Like there was no therapy there. It was just he was spending time with me. Like everything was like trying to be as normal as possible for a split family, you know. But yeah, I had apparently worded that wrong in a manner that got me arrested. So I didn't know, right? We had our second court date, which was my custody hearing. We had been building a case. Like, obviously, like there's an alienation case there, right? I wasn't allowed to see my son, no communication, even after the courts granted me permission to see and talk to him. She still wouldn't allow it. I feel like she knew that. So she would constantly try to draw me out, right? Try to get me to talk about off-topic things, like message me all the time and stuff like that. And I'm like,
So she can say whatever she wants to you.
Yeah, it's a one-way restraining
Right.
order. She can,
I was
she
just
can
thinking you
instigate
antagonize the
me.
shit
She
out
can
of you.
say whatever. Yeah, she can do whatever she
Oh my
wants.
God.
I was just going to ask you to add clarity to what this is. So you're allowed, according to the court, you're supposed to communicate on a court app, correct? Via text.
Yep,
And you are only allowed to talk about your son.
correct.
That's all you talked about.
Yeah, so I assumed that that was still talking about my son, right? Like,
Right. His
but
therapy.
because part of that statement, there was no threats. I was never aggressive.
brought up the
I never
restraining order.
swore. I never did anything.
Right.
And because I said, he didn't need my exact wording on the first time that I got arrested was, my son. I'm like, he didn't need therapy before you filed the restraining order. And
So
because
now
I said
it's about
you,
her.
because I
Her
said
and the
you.
restraining order.
And that's me just saying, hey, that's me saying,
Right.
It's a statement.
still
and
talking
it's
about your
true, and
son.
I'm still talking
Right.
about him. Like, he didn't need the therapy before then. I was like, why is he doing the therapy? And like the therapist was used in the custody battles, right?
Like, if you guys are still together, do you think your son would be in any therapy right now?
Hell no.
Okay, and I would be willing to bet on that.
Oh yeah, no. And if I didn't leave her, we'd probably still be together. You
Yeah.
know?
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But that's how this
Do you think
is.
she'd still have her boyfriend?
She probably had. She probably had
would
him.
believe that.
I don't know. No one can say for sure.
No,
but
I'm just
that's
making light of it.
You know, there's a strong possibility that he was there before.
She knew it was going on.
Yeah.
So you get arrested again. So they come to
For
your
the
work?
first time. That's the first
First time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So they come and arrest you.
No, so let me tell you how this all went down. All right. So this is the day before my court hearing, right? I go to a friend's house who's helping me prepare for my court date, right? And I'm like, I'm there for the night, just getting everything ready, like super nervous, right? Like I'm excited too, right? Because I might get permission to see my son at this
Right.
point, right? And inherently, like I did at that point, but when I showed up to court, I was there for my custody hearing. I thought I was super prepared, and I was. Like I had put together so much proof, evidence, everything, which none of it got to get heard. I didn't get to sit in front of the judge that day. So while I'm talking to my lawyer, and we're figuring out like how we're going to present our case and stuff like that, we're in the conference room. Court officer walks in. They
Unbelievable.
go, there's a warrant for your arrest.
Unbelievable.
So I'm there.
This is insane.
So they're like, they look at me.
Insane.
They're like, you're going to jail today. So my lawyer looks at me. She's like, oh my God. She's like, you have to hire a criminal lawyer. So I had to call a guy on the spot to come and get me out of jail that day.
Holy crap.
So I have nothing on me, right? Like I have nothing. They took everything, right? So they made me hash out they fired a deal in front of me, right? Like I got railroaded so bad, dude. Like disgusting amount of child support, right? Like we had to hash out like a bunch of stuff that was leaving, and her lawyer swapped the paperwork as I was going to jail, and they made me sign away my dog. So she got my dog too.
That is insane.
And then they
has gotten sick.
So I didn't notice that. I was signing this under duress, right? Like I'm going to jail, right? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm freaking out, like,
Right.
okay, I'm gonna be able to see my son. We
I'm
hashed
trying to
out a
get this
custody
done
agreement.
before I go to jail.
It's supervised visitation, right? They slapped me with. They told me that I'm going to do hair follicle, random drug testing, all this stuff. They hit me with all that on the spot, right? So now I go from, dealing with this restraining order, like I'm stressed out, man, like everything's crazy, to now like I'm paying over $2,000 a month in child support. I now have to have supervised visitations only with approved people that she had to approve.
Oh my God.
Fortunately, she allowed my mother to do it, right? Like, thank God. But like other people, she said no because they're super close and it would have been too easy, you know, right? So,
I'm lost. What was the criminal impact? Or how did that? What were you being arrested for?
so they hit me with a violation of restraining order.
Oh, because of the text.
Because of the text.
Got
Yeah. Yeah. So, like I said, because it was a simple text that was directed at her, it was bagged on a technicality, right? And that was that was enough, right? She even screenshotted the message and sent it to me. And I knew right away. I was like,
There she goes.
she did not mean to send that to me. She meant to send that to somebody to
Right.
get me in trouble.
Right.
And I immediately stopped talking in the chat. Like at that moment, like I knew, I made a phone call. I said, something's going to happen.
Yeah.
And sure as hell it did. You know, I show up there and I got locked up. So that day it cost me $5,000 to get out of jail.
So here you are. You're going to court thinking you're going to be getting custody back of your son.
Yeah,
You
we're
end
gonna
up
arrange out. We're gonna
yeah.
figure out a reasonable custody agreement. Like this is gonna work
It's
out.
gonna be
Like,
good. You're
like, it's gonna be
excited.
Good. Like okay,
We're moving forward.
This is the hard part. No.
So
That
you
was
end
not-
up
That was not the hard
You end up
part.
firing a lawyer, hiring a lawyer, going to jail,
No,
and
I had
spending
two.
$5,000.
I had to have two lawyers. So I had a family court lawyer and a criminal court
God.
lawyer.
So you
Like,
needed them both.
Yeah, I still have a criminal lawyer to this day. Yeah, I needed them both. So
Which, by the way, if he wasn't paying, he would have no defense.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Oh yeah,
And they wouldn't give you a lawyer because you make too much money.
too much money. Yeah, so I don't qualify. And,
She's probably got a
like it was a tough situation, dude. Right? Like I'm starting over. Like I'm taking all this on my own. Like everything, all this adding up, dude. Man, that crushed me so bad, dude. Like that was bad. And
That's
on top
what
of,
she's
like,
doing is heartless at this point.
yeah,
This is
there's
just absolute.
zero,
That's
zero
criminal.
empathy.
What she's doing is
It is
criminal.
criminal. You
yeah,
are correct.
It's mental abuse on a diabolical
malicious
level. Yeah,
in every
it's
aspect.
bad.
And actually, Kevin says you could file a claim of libel against her, calling you a drug addict without evidence.
Oh yeah, there's defamation. There's other. Even my lawyer admitted that there's a pretty
Strong
solid
case.
case here. But the thing is, right? This is the game they play.
Well, it's more money, right?
Oh yeah, they deplete you though, so you can't fight it. And their worst nightmare is somebody taking it to the Supreme Court because they will lose.
That's what we're hoping to do.
They will lose.
That's what we are hoping to do.
I would love to make it that far and be able to make a change in this situation. And we're not the only ones trying to do
Correct.
this. Like the more lawsuits that get filed, I think there will be a turn. You know,
And that's what
Because
this is about. It's about making change
it's
for
change.
the
you
for the
shouldn't
world.
be able to ruin somebody's life because your feelings
Right.
are hurt. You know, right? Like deal with that first before you start acting on emotion
Yeah.
and trying to, you ruin good families, right? Like, it only makes things worse, right? Like, how are you gonna try to, bury an active father, a willing father, somebody who's a good father, right? Like to try to destroy them, that makes you a terrible person.
who's-
and unfortunately, that makes you a bad.
The
mother
collateral
or
damage
father.
is your son.
The collateral damage is my son.
You
right?
can take it. You could care less if it was just you and her.
I could,
Yeah, it
I
sucks.
could take it. It definitely sucks, and it's like not many. There's several people who can't say that. You know, like
But she
they-
knows that, though. So that's a key point. She knows that because without the son, there'd be nothing. She'd be a million
pawn.
miles away.
Gone,
There'd be
yeah,
nothing. Okay, restraining order. You wouldn't care. Whatever. I'm on my own life. I could care
You
less.
have no reason-
She's
no reason to ever
using,
talk to her.
optically, this is from what I can tell at this point, she's using and pitting their own son
against
against the father.
to make him
Oh yeah,
suffer.
it was.
Correct.
Family courts were definitely weaponized against me for sure. It was used as a means of control for a little bit.
Yeah.
right? Like, she made me squirm.
Yeah.
for sure. And whatever, I happily did everything the courts asked me to do, right? Because obviously, I want to see my son.
You
I
gotta
don't
play
care. I'm
the
not
game.
willing to jeopardize
Right,
any of that.
right.
Like he's my top priority. That's the only thing I cared about in that situation.
So you get out of jail.
Yeah. So I get out that day.
Did they? So you ended up having to sign this agreement. So now you're
Yeah,
paying the
I
child
went
support.
I went to court. They heard me that day. I got out. They let me out on personal recognizance, and I have a court date. I have a court date for that criminal charge now, right? So now that restraining order case is now held in two different courts, right? So,
And now you still have supervised visits with your son at this point, or
yeah,
still?
so supervised visitation. So that was the stipulation that day that I got arrested at my hearing. That was the stipulation. So now I'm signed up for hair follicle test, random drug screenings, supervised visitations. And
So it's kind of setting you up. They're like, okay, we'll let you see your son, but you got to submit to these, and they're hoping to catch you in something.
oh yeah,
So they can-
oh yeah,
And this
yeah.
is
Shake
where-
and burn you again.
Yeah, so not only was drug testing, it was drug and alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Which is like whatever. I don't care.
Right. Your son is your priority. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it was just the fact that like there's zero justification. I have no history of alcohol abuse. I have no history of drug abuse. I have no nothing, dude. And like at that point, dude, like I was on such a health kick. It was crazy, right? Like I wasn't doing anything besides going to the gym and
Yeah.
eating health. Like I was at the best point in my life, like ever. And to say that, like, dude, come on.
Right. There's
Come
no
on.
justification for it.
She even tried to say I was on steroids, whatever. I'll take that as a compliment. Like, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. I've
You
been
think
working,
so?
hard,
Cool.
working hard lately. Yeah. Yeah.
in perspective and in context, you and I were speaking at this point about this, and I think I said to you, I'm like, look, if anything's going to show up is a hair follicle test, and
Right.
I specifically said
100%,
to
yeah.
you over the phone, I'm like, T, are you doing anything? You said nothing. I'm like, dude, I don't care if it's marijuana. In the past 5 years, it's going to show up in a follicle test. And you said, I've done nothing. And I'm like, so you don't do anything. You said, Rick, I don't do anything. I barely drink. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. The hair follicle test is going to say this. I'm still at this point where I'm not certain what's what and who's who in this situation, right? Hair follicle test comes back spotless. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit, dude. At this point, now I'm 100% on your side. I'm like,
that-
dude,
oh, that-
you're
mind
not
you-
getting by hair follicle test.
So add this to it. I was also put on probation, and I had to check in with probation every single morning. So
this
if
is
I- if
abuse
I-
of the legal
So if I
system.
missed a check-in, right, like I could get in trouble for that.
So you're on probation for a court violation of the restraining order? They put you
Yeah,
on
yeah. So they
probation?
put me on probation.
So now they got
I have to
somebody
check in
else
with a
at the state
probation
involved.
officer, and now I have the drug screening facility, and they're all communicating. Like I'm constantly talking to a probation
Again, this
officer.
is all based on
or I'm
nothing.
talking
Right.
to a drug screening facility or whatever.
Everybody's
right?
getting paid.
Yeah. Oh.
At
yeah.
your
So
expense.
I didn't have to pay like because it was court ordered. I didn't have to pay
No,
for the drug
but-
screenings. But if it wasn't court ordered, like and it was mandated by
Right.
a therapist or something like that, some outside source,
you'd
I
be
would have to
paying.
pay for it.
Yeah.
Here's my entire problem with that. Okay, if you're gonna make him go through the hair follicle test and
Make her do it.
And I said that.
Fair and equal
I
treatment
said
under the law.
absolutely 100%. And I didn't know what they meant when they were like, okay, you can drug test. I was like, I will 100% take a drug test if she does it. And they said, absolutely not. It doesn't work like that. I said, why not? I was like, you're mandating that I take.
Yeah, you're trying to
based
prove
on
that
nothing.
And I'm like, you're trying to
unfit.
unfit. I was like,
She's unfit. Yeah.
yeah, like have
Fair's
her
fair.
do it. Have her do it.
Hey, if I was the court
Unbelievable.
seeking truth, that's exactly what I'd be
Right.
like. All right, listen, this is going to tell me
Yeah,
something.
let's see which
about
one's
both
lying.
of them,
Yeah, how
one
about let's
of
put
them,
them?
or
Yeah, what
individual.
goes to the goose goes to the
Yeah,
gander.
yeah.
How
Right.
about make both y'all do
Right.
it?
Fair and
right?
equal
We'll figure
treatment
out-
under the law.
They don't want that.
No.
So they will put you through an immense amount of like stress and make you jump through so many hoops because you know what? They know that if they base your entire like rulings off of lies, that you're going to do anything to clear your name, right? And that keeps you in the system longer,
Yeah.
right? That's how they drag out cases. There's people out there that have been fighting for 10, 15 years, dude, for their kids.
No.
And don't get to see them because
Yeah.
you know what? They keep getting dragged through the mud and they're willing to do whatever it takes. They're willing to literally wipe out in their entire life, burn their entire life to the ground for their kids, and there's certainly my situation's pretty bad. There's definitely people out there who got it worse. And it's like, it's super unfortunate that it's that way. Like, due process would change a lot in the family courts, you know?
And you still haven't had it up to this point.
No, not, yeah. So that, I haven't, no due process, right?
He hasn't
So,
had it up until any point, to this point today.
yeah, I've been, criminal charges have been charged against me at that point. So that was the first charge, right?
So you're on probation. Now you have a criminal court case 1 month
so
down the road.
I want to say that all went on for several months before I think I took something like over 100 urine tests.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. and they were like, yeah, probation's like, we're your next court hearing, we're going to opt to tell you to get off of that. And I was like, you think?
You're going to run out of piss.
I was like, hair fall? Yeah, straight up. Yo, they started saliva testing me. They're like, you got spit, boy. Let's go. So,
wow. So in the meantime, you're still having visitation with your son or supervised with your mom.
correct.
So you're seeing
So
your son.
all it was just every other weekend. That was it.
Did you get him overnights or?
Yeah, so I would have him for the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so I got to see him 4 days a month.
But keep in mind, this doesn't just upend his life. It's
Right.
upending his
Mother.
My mom.
My aunt,
oh yeah.
right?
My
His
mom and like everybody else who helped me out and stuff like that. Like,
So your mom's at your house, living there
Living
basically
there,
to make
yeah.
sure you can see your son.
Yeah, exactly. She said,
That's called putting it up, dude. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Right.
my mom was like, listen, like we'll make it work. And
Right.
she 100% stepped up and like kind of she just did whatever it took, right? And now mind you, like if I want to go and do something fun with my son, she has to go
She has
with
to
me.
go. Yeah.
I want to go to the barber shop with my son. She has to sit there. You know how annoying that is?
Right.
Like I can't even take my kid for a haircut without my
It's
mom having
annoying
to
for
sit there.
you. Imagine how annoying
Yeah, for
it is
her. And like I could tell, like it started to wear on her after a while. She was like, man, I'm like, listen, I had a couple other people that were approved on the list to help. And I started trying to break it up. And it's like, all these people have families too. So it's like,
It's hard.
now I'm having like them drive around with my son and we're going to places with them because they have their own lives, you know, right? And it's like, all with no justification. My son's perfectly safe with me. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And that's where like the therapy comes in with the supervised visitation, is because she, as the therapist had stated right now, like she had approached me almost a year later at this point, and she believes that there was coercive control, coercive manipulation, right? Like she put thoughts in his head to make him think that, okay, in the beginning that he was afraid of me.
He's
Right.
10 years old,
So
dude. He's
now-
a malleable kid. The
Correct.
brain-
And
Yeah,
she's
so-
extremely manipulative.
Yeah,
as
so-
we know.
And it's his
So, like-
mom. So how is he going to? Right.
So obviously, like,
Which
I
is
had to
wrong,
walk
period.
on eggshells, and like I told the therapist early on, I said, listen, I'm not gonna say anything, but I'm like, if you are familiar with people using this as a means to gain traction in a child custody case, just be aware. And she goes, absolutely, I see it all the time. And I said, I'm not gonna say anything, just pay attention. And sure as hell, she approached me numerous occasions with questions that she thought there was manipulation going on, or she thought that there was other personality behaviors that were happening, right? Like, obviously, she's not her therapist, so she's not going to say anything, right? It's my son's therapist, so it's like she's there for my son and stuff like that, but
She can tell something's going on.
she could tell something's going on. And like early on, she thought I was the villain, right? Like she called DCF on me and stuff like that with no evidence. Again,
jeez.
now mind you, she said that
They're
like-
legally obligated. From
So
what I
she's like-
understand, right?
my ex at the time was like, yeah, he's feeding him food that could kill him. He has allergies. He's feeding food on his allergies. Now, mind you, my son does not have an EpiPen. He doesn't have allergies. He has food intolerances. Like last time I checked, diarrhea or upset stomach doesn't kill people. You know, so it's like people who are lactose decide to eat ice cream all the time.
Right.
That's the situation. You know?
Right,
So
right.
it's like,
Yeah.
God forbid, like I gave my kid a piece of pizza, and he had a little bit of a lactose issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't even bother him really. You know, it's just the fact that like I gave
You're gonna grow out of that too.
yeah. Oh, and he houses that stuff now. You know, like he eats stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was supposedly whatever.
Yeah.
That basically doesn't apply anymore. So it's like within a matter of like months, that all changed.
And that
Like-
could be stress. That could be
Yes,
stress
correct.
itself.
Exactly what
Correct.
it
So
is.
it's like
You know?
whatever. You know, like there was no issues.
Right.
But there was like there was literally nothing that she could use against me to say that my son was afraid of me. So she took like these minor situations and like implanted it into his head to make it seem like it was way worse than it was. And the therapist was like, man, the way he was talking about it, it sounded like he was going to come to me and tell me that he legit got physically abused in the most vile way, you know, right? And come to find out it was like a normal parenting situation. And I'm
Right.
like, yeah, this is what got used against me. You know, it's crazy. And I'm like, you see how fast you were willing to put DCF on me
Yeah.
with no evidence. But at the same time, like now she's realizing how messy the situation is not willing to offer me any help. So,
But you know, I'm sorry, you know, and I get it to a point, but at this point, you're being paid to provide a service, and there's got to be a certain amount of moral competence to stand up and speak the truth. Shame on you for not doing that.
yeah, and she had offered. She's like, she goes, I want to help you, and I'm like, so help me, and that's why like I'm so open to tell my story to everybody because like you never know like any of these officials, you know, the DAs, the probation officers, the therapists, like everybody, if they're willing to listen, I'm willing to tell my story because I've got dog walked this entire time with literally nothing. Like I've had
No
didn't do
proof.
anything.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely insane to me, right? And that's a hard part to try to swallow that, you know. And
Yeah, because it makes you go crazy.
oh, it does.
Well,
you know, like when you try to do right, like and everything's going wrong, like that's brutal. You know, it's absolutely brutal.
And it's out of your control.
it
That's
is out
the
of my-
frustrating part.
My hands are tied.
Right.
And if I react in any manner,
You're done.
done.
Yeah. They're just
So
that's
I
what
have
they're
to
waiting
sit
for.
here and just sit here and wait.
Take
and
it.
That's all it is. And like people are starting to come around, right? Like patience is key. Like, and it's unfortunate. Like if you're the one who's got the boot on your throat, like
Yeah.
your day will come.
Yeah, but
right? Like, you
nobody
just have
should
to be-
sit with a boot on their throat
I
for a
agree,
year's
right?
time
I
without any
agree.
kind of fair and recognition to look at this from an objective point of view.
And that's a
It's
fault
purely
of the family court.
subjective.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
And it's not a family court because it's no court. It's a kangaroo court.
exactly.
There's nothing family about this court because it has no inclination or care for any part of a family dynamic. It cares about following their agenda.
Exactly.
There's no family in the family court. If they truly cared about the word family, they would be trying to find the legal remedy and source for the family. Or not just one individual or this individual, but all three. And saying, stop the nonsense.
I'm a firm believer. As long as there's no legitimate abuse situations, like
100%.
they should go rate 50-50 right out the rip, right? Figure it out. It
Correct.
should be shared legal custody of the child.
And the
right?
rest
Or
should be all
children.
based on facts.
Correct. Evidence.
Yeah.
Right? And there should be a trial for that, right? Like
Yeah,
if
of
you're
course.
making accusations that one's an unfit parent,
Right.
then
Prove
you
it.
got prove it.
You got to prove it.
Prove it.
So I got a comment on our Facebook Live. So one of our followers, Brandon, he went through a custody battle, and this sounds like a decent case. He said he got extremely lucky with his custody battle. He said he had an honest judge who did what was best for the child. So, I mean, as many times as guys like you kind of get railroaded, it sounds like, well, probably not as many times, but there is cases where the justice system does work.
Yeah, and I feel like that has to do with both the parents, right? Like, and how they handle that situation.
Sure.
Because you could have one that's super toxic and one that's super logical, right?
Right.
Like, or whatever, you know, there's a whole lot of factors there. Like, you know, it depends on the circumstances, and I understand like everybody's different, right? Like
Right.
I know people who've been in and out, like they get an agreement, it's done, it's super easy. And life is good, and they do what's truly best. Both parents
They
do what's
agree.
true. So
Because they're both rational.
yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, unfortunately, like sometimes like you both agree and you both see things the same way, and you're both like, okay, like I'm done. Let's figure this out and let's make it work, right?
Right.
Like, but when one doesn't want what the other one wants,
Yeah.
that's when things start going
So
south.
what happens next? So I mean, is she? So you have this case coming up for the criminal court. Is she still after you? Is she still making these false claims?
Yeah.
Is she still
So-
in and out of the courts filing
No, so
contempt against you, or what's
He was
going on?
arrested. Well, not arrested, but stopped this week.
Well, right,
Right.
But I'm like
Yeah.
trying to follow this timeline
yeah, so
here.
it hasn't ended, right? Like, I mean, there's quiet periods, and I feel like it's like she's just literally doing research. You know, I feel like it's
Trying
like
to
what's
figure out how
next?
to burn
Like,
you.
I'm like, man, it's been quiet for like 3 weeks. What's gonna happen? You know,
This is gonna come around the
there's
corner.
I haven't caught an attitude. I haven't got 10,000 messages. Like, what's gonna happen?
Are you still under a restraining order or no?
No restraining order, but I am currently under probation, like
For the first criminal charge, so to
for
speak?
both of them, right? So there's two. So we'll kind of move on to that, I guess.
But wait a minute. There's been a couple times you were arrested in between it. I don't want to move on. I want to follow, unless you want to take
Yeah,
time
so
to collect
we'll hit the in between period there. After that first arrest, right? Like my court hearing, we had a custody agreement, the supervised visitation, the drug test, all that stuff. That carried on for several months.
Yeah.
Right. We dealt with that routine. Man, I forget what it was.
But you were arrested for something else.
Yeah. Same for the same exact thing the second time around. Yeah, exact same thing.
So
yeah.
she says, so you're still communicating via text message.
Yeah,
On
correct.
on
a court
app.
monitored
So
app,
they can
yeah.
see everything.
They can see everything. Yeah.
They know you're not stupid at this point. You're not.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I don't think they even read them, so they just take her word for it. They're like, "Yeah, he violated."
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's where I have all
can't
the
they go and look
So-
at it and say
This is a legal issue.
I know I don't know anything about restraining orders or whatever, but like I don't know who you report a violation to. Like, do you go to the police or what? Like,
I think you got to go
yeah.
to the court.
or the court.
They file a contempt of the restraining order.
Okay, so
I mean, I think they could go to the police as well, but
yeah. See, the thing is, like, so it was done that second time, literally, like, say, like, I dealt with all that stuff. Like, I'm still under that restraining order, right? It's still active, and that was like, I ended up getting, we had the next court date, and it was to, like, hash some things out, right? And we did that. I ended up getting off of the drug test, and they took me off of that stuff. They took me off supervised visitation because whatever, I met the needs of the court on that. But that probably took, I don't even know, several months. I mean, it was probably
so, I mean,
5 or
4,
6
5,
months.
6 months
Yeah, something
probably.
like that. Yeah.
So you're
Of dealing
doing
with-
these drug
I'd
tests.
say
You're on
longer because
supervised
we're
visits.
at a year right now.
Yeah, we're at
just
a
about
year.
a year.
So I want to say, yeah, it was probably
7, 8 months.
4 or 5 months
okay.
of like the drug testing alone.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That
Yeah,
part,
yeah.
yeah.
So that goes away. The supervised visits go away. You got arrested again for another
Yeah. So
violation for a text message you sent.
yeah, correct. So
So she's still
now-
after you. She
now-
is still dogging
now
you.
she's still dogging me. The restraining order is still active, right? She hasn't dropped it yet at this point. And I had talked to my lawyer. I'm like, listen, like this is making things 10 times more difficult. There's no reason for this restraining order. She was completely unwilling to like work with me, right? And I'm like, all right, well, let's set up a court date to try to figure this out, right? So I told her, I'm like, listen, I'm sick of this. I'm gonna get a GAL for my son, which a guardian ad litem, which is a lawyer for your child, right? She didn't want that.
Of course not.
Oh yeah, because all the stuff's gonna come out, right? She immediately responds with, "You drop the GAL, I'll drop the restraining order, and
No way.
we'll figure out a reasonable
Here's
parenting
the
plan."
manipulation.
Yeah,
Correct. There is
yeah.
the manipulation.
100%.
Yeah.
So we hash out an agreement before we go to court, right? She drops the restraining order. I said, drop the restraining order and we'll talk. So she goes and drops the restraining order. And I we have a court hearing to appoint a GAL. So that's when we hash those things out. I said, either we come up with like a reasonable parenting plan and move on with our lives, right? Like, because I'm done with this. I'm like, I never wanted to go to court in the first place. I didn't want to do any of this.
Right.
Like, it just sucks, dude. The family court is trash. Like, it's just miserable. And oh yeah, we had a great conversation over text, right? Like, after she dropped the restraining order, it was like, yeah, we'll do this, we'll do that. We had a conversation in person. She's like, yeah, I'll drop the child support. We'll do this. I'll give them to you as much as you want and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, this sounds great. Almost too good to be true.
Which personality were you talking to?
I don't know, man. And like we it's Beelzebub. So yeah, we go to court and yeah, like she straight up shows up with an abuse counselor. Like, she doesn't have a lawyer at this point. And I'm like, all right. Like, I'm thinking like we're gonna hash this out. Like, this is done. We agreed upon something. And bro, that changed the minute we got there.
She just comes in,
Nothing we
guns
said,
blazing.
nothing we agreed upon. Even like, we had communicated. She was talking with my lawyer, telling her that this is the agreement, that this is what we want. Wow. Oh, she showed up with this abuse counselor, and that woman was like
a bulldog.
Oh, she wanted to bury me. She was like, take him for everything.
What
like, straight up. Like,
now, where's your lawyer in this situation?
sitting right next to me,
And
not really doing much for me, which
Oh.
basically, I mean, she was a yes person the entire time.
She's
Like,
just getting paid.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did
Oh yeah,
tell
dude,
him.
I got dog walked in court. My ex's lawyer was ruthless, dude.
I'm going to say this about
Ruthless.
attorneys. Look,
She didn't
your
pay her
job is to do the law, not kiss the judge's ass, not make friends in court. Your job is the law. The law is your friend. Anything beyond that is weakness. It's not doing your job. It's a violation of the oath and the creed that you take as a lawyer. You stand there for the law and you represent the people you are taking money from. Otherwise, it's thievery with a license to do it. There's no other way to get around that. And I had actually talked to you about this. I said, listen, you got to make these lawyers, they are there to represent you in accordance with the law. And if they're not doing that, fire them. And they're not doing that. You've paid out how many thousands at this point?
In legal fees alone, I don't know, 30,000.
Oh my god,
This is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting.
That's not my losses. My losses are probably close to 100K
yeah. Because now we talked off camera.
between like all the stuff.
yeah,
I
you're
lost in
taking
the
time off
process.
of work.
Yeah,
You have to go to
my
these drug tests.
vehicles
Your
and everything that cost me. Yeah,
$100,000.
Yeah, we're close to that. It was almost more than that because
I mean, like
almost
you
lost
said-
my entire firearms collection too.
That would ruin a lot of people.
A lot of people.
And
It hurt.
oh, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
hurt bad. Yeah.
wow, that is unbelievable. And all beginning off of a lie.
A lie.
Yeah, like I
Still to
just-
this day has
I-
not been
a
proven
lie.
anything.
I literally just cleared about $57,000 in debt I accumulated from this last year.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Because I was doing whatever I had to, like paying, running up credit cards and all that stuff, dude.
Hey, trying to
God,
survive.
it was- yeah,
Yeah.
and like trying to retain my house and stuff like that, dude. Like I didn't want to.
And this is where I have a problem with the police. They are supposed to know the Constitution. And I don't care if a judge tells you to do it. It doesn't say in the Constitution, as long as a judge tells you to do it, you must do it. No, you have rights. You have a law that we are following, and that law is called the supreme law of the land. No government, no state government, federal or otherwise, has the right to violate those.
And that's the problem. If you're in a state and the state court comes down and they give a ruling, and the police work for the cities or in the state,
They work for the people. at the
I
same
understand,
time.
and that's where the problem is. You know, like, is every cop gonna just go? We'll call it rogue and support the Constitution, which is kind of a backward statement. They should be supporting the
Well,
Constitution.
there's a reason they keep them in the blind, right?
Right.
It's blind obedience, right?
Right.
So that they get them to do their bidding feeding them very little information.
It's all
so
in the
they just
system,
know they
right?
have to do something.
So
but
here's
they
the
don't know
judge in
why.
my district. The judge
Yeah,
gives us
done.
this.
Yeah.
Now I have to do it because I work for the city and blah blah blah. And I get
That's
it's
intentional.
the system.
Yeah, it's intentional. So that nobody
it's not
questions
right.
anything.
It's
know?
not right.
Yeah, no.
And most people just go along with it because you don't have the means to fight it, or if you do, it's
or you don't have the knowledge.
expensive, or the
Yeah.
knowledge, or you don't know your constitutional rights.
So that's why the state needs to be sued.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because like Tyler said, if this goes to the Supreme Court, which they don't want it to go, I mean, do you think look what happened to us when we went just for that small
chasing
claims
down
case.
this individual, same individual.
We
her.
were treated as
we were
criminals.
criminals.
We're the ones who filed the lawsuit.
Yeah.
And we're treated as the criminal. And I'm like, listen, she's the one who's not showing up. Why are you punishing us? We took time off of work. We're here.
That was my point of going back to saying, well, if a male files a restraining order, is it the same? And you said, well, yes. And no, it's not. It's no different than like you just said. We were the ones that filed the court proceeding
Right.
with evidence to be represented and just represented in accordance with the court of law, but they weren't.
Right.
At that time, they were going with her. Well, what'd she do that day? I forget what she did. She didn't show up.
She just didn't show up. She was sick.
Right. Didn't feel well. And I'm
Sick of you
and
guys.
that's when we were like, listen, this is what she's been doing the whole time.
Right.
And
Rule for us and make her jump through hoops. Instead, they
Correct.
made us jump through the hoops.
Crazy,
or
right?
make both, right? But
That's what I'm wondering is like, man, she might be the actual devil. She's just putting a hex on people, making them do stuff. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
insane.
it makes no sense to me.
it is wildly, it's unfounded, right? It's wrong on all moral principle. It's all wrong on logic. It's wrong on every aspect.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to have this conversation. And if we're going to make change as a society, then we need to bond as a society and make that change. And I think this is the ground or the hill we die on type of thing in this scenario, right? You know, even in speaking with my own personal lawyer, attorney, whatever, he's like, well, family courts are different. I'm like,
The law is the law.
don't say that to me. The law is the law. And he's like, well, I get what you're saying. He's like, but the family courts, they have notoriously been getting away with things that are outside the law. So they recognize it. This is my frustration with attorneys. They recognize it and they won't dare take a stand on the oath and the no different than the Hippocratic oath that a doctor has to do no harm. And when they see someone harming another person using the law as a cudgel, there is a problem. You are not a lawyer at that point. If you're not standing up for it, you are just somebody looking to take money from people legally.
They're just following the status quo.
Yeah, and it's to my understanding, like I haven't done any digging on this, but what I've heard is that there's major financial incentive for the courts to like the family courts to constantly do that stuff, right? Like keep the rotation going of the legal battles and stuff like that, the child support and all that stuff. There's major financial incentives for the judges and the courts between the states to do this, you know.
If nobody shows up, then they don't have a reason to be there, right?
Yeah,
The more people you keep in there,
moving, right? Like
got to keep the
machine
doors
going.
open.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And like, dude, that's a problem.
I think the other problem here is, so they based the child support. He said $2,000 a month. Granted, you make
only $2,000 a month. I provide health insurance, and I still have to split everything: medical bills,
all the copays, and
all the copays, any activities after that, and all while providing everything at my house for the same too.
And don't get me wrong,
that $2,000 is not going to anything for him. You know, it's whatever. I'm paying her bills at that point.
Right. You make
and some people see it the other way, right? Like, but like try to justify that in any manner, right? Like I'll tell you what, if my son lived with me full time, I'd save about $1,800 a month, right? You know, right at that point, you know?
Right.
You know, somehow I magically got her to agree to lower that, like by the grace of God, somehow,
Really?
like to something where I'm not like completely dying.
Well,
So it's still,
you still got to survive.
yeah,
I agree with the 50-50 split on the medical bills. I agree with the 50-50 splits
absolutely.
on the
I
medical
agree, splitting
coverage.
everything, right?
But
Like,
not in addition to an
Right, not in
absurd
addition
amount
to.
of
But
monthly
like,
payment.
if you're a capable adult and you have your own life, right? Like, you pay your own rent, you
Right.
pay your own utilities, all that stuff, right? Like, we all do that. Like, and if I'm providing clothes, shoes, food, everything while he's at my house,
What's the other money
and then
going
I'm
for?
splitting everything all while providing the health insurance and all that stuff,
Right.
like, then what's left? Because, like, I know what it costs to feed me every week,
Right.
and it's not, and he don't even touch that. Like,
Right.
he eat what's left over on my plate and be happy, you know. Right. He eats chicken nuggets and French fries
Right.
most of the time. Like, that's just like
Yeah. So where does the money go? She's
that's what I'm trying to
living on
justify. Yeah, exactly.
it. It's ridiculous.
So I believe, like, and I understand, like, everybody's situation is different, but like, if you're a present father, there's no reason for that. You know, like, if you're active in their life and you're constantly with your son or your child, like,
But you have 50-50 custody,
yeah. So yeah, exactly.
which even at that, so you have 50-50 custody and an outrageous amount of child support.
Right.
So yeah, right now it's right around $1,000 a month.
So okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's still a lot of money.
Yeah,
But you know, I understand. So when I went through my divorce, I made X number of dollars. My ex-wife made X number of dollars, and they said, okay, between the two of you, this is the total income for the family. This is the lifestyle that child could be expected to have. So if we were millionaires, then the child's going to have brand name clothing and probably get it. You know, so that goes into the formula.
But I think that formula is even screwed up.
Oh, it is because
absolutely,
I was paying that for one child, and that was 15 years ago.
yeah.
And I wasn't making a lot of money. I ended up losing my house. I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment.
That's where I was heading too, right?
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't sustain the $2,100 a month. Like, I couldn't do it. You know,
Yeah.
like, it was crushing me.
And then 2,000 in child support plus providing,
all their extensions,
plus taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, not just your rent and mortgage. It's you need your day-to-day stuff, insurance, gas. You need
Everything.
clothes. You need food. You need
all while being financially depleted by lawyers.
right
and
now
stuff
you're in
like
debt.
that. Yeah,
You said $57,000, and you spent over $100,000 just trying to get out of this.
Yeah, fixing
this
everything
whole
I lost.
Yeah, I mean, this is all on a lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem. Or let's not even call it a lie. Let's say an unsubstantiated claim. Right? And so then prove the claim. And that's all we were asking. That's all you were asking.
Yeah.
That's ever been asked of the court.
Justify it in any manner. Yeah, that's all. It's that simple, right? Like, you, especially, like, it hurts even worse when that happens, and you have there's no reason why, right?
Yeah.
Like, that'll eat your soul alive, you know. Especially, you know, you have no idea. You're
Yeah,
like,
I can't
why
imagine.
is this happening to me? You know, that was like the worst part of it. Like, you sit and you think about it, and you're like, okay, there's people. If I did something to deserve this, like, that'd be one thing, you know. But it's like
You broke up with a chick
you
were
try to
dating.
do everything right, and then you just get
you're railroaded.
crushed, decimated, dude. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but if you've been dating a chick for 18 years and you ain't married her, then she's stupid too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just
Like, I mean, there were signs
at some
there,
point make the
Yeah.
and I'm
commitment.
like, yeah.
Well, imagine if that happened, and he would be in worse shape right now.
Well-
He probably would have had to pay alimony and this and that, and
Right. My
Whatever the
point.
case
My
may
point
be,
is
but-
the writing was on the wall
Yeah.
but
at some point.
man, what a story! Is there more to it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was the first arrest, right?
wow.
So there's a second. Same situation. This was like several months after the first one. We're doing our thing, and I had gotten a communication with her. Like, I'm gonna say this was when the restraining order was dropped. So I was allowed to have normal conversations with her, and obviously I had a lot to say.
Right.
You know, so like I kind of spoke my mind on some things. Like, as easy as I could go about it without
Yeah.
trying to trigger her too bad, because I understand the situation, right? Like if I come at her hard, oh man, things are gonna
Right.
get bad.
You're
Yeah, it's gonna
getting
get.
arrested,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, there's gonna be more false allegations, you know. So I just had a simple conversation. She didn't like that. As you guys seeing, like when you were dealing with yours, right? The minute you started questioning her on something, boom, there was a restraining order.
Right.
Yeah, you know that happened because she didn't want to hear it anymore.
Right.
So anytime a
Well,
counter,
she used it as a tool.
correct, it was used as a tool, and that's the same thing. It was used as a tool against me
Correct.
as well. It was to silence me, and it was the same way with you, right? So it was used in a manner to get you to stop communicating with her, right?
Right, but she
There-
kept
the issue
communicating
was,
with
like,
me.
You were asking her to take accountability for the things that she did. She didn't want to do that.
Right.
So boom, silence.
Yep.
Okay. Until your court hearing. Same thing with me. Boom, I'm silenced, you know? But now I'm allowed to speak. So hold on. So that I got this messed up. So the restraining order was still after that first arrest. The restraining order was still in place. It was like a few months after that, leading up. Let me think here.
So you kind of left it off where you guys had all these agreements. She comes into court with the abuse counselor.
Yeah, that was that first court date. Yeah,
Goes
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
You get arrested after that again.
I got so the second time, yeah. So the first time, like she showed up, we hashed out like that reasonable agreement and stuff like that. Yeah. So there were. I'm trying to think here. So much, man. It was just so
It's
much.
just hell.
Yeah, it's just chaos.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, it's harder because
So
there's just
he's
so much
going into
on.
this courtroom thinking there's a reasonable agreement.
Yeah, and that all changed. Yeah.
Okay, and changed to what?
To like so like everything we agreed upon was just out the window. So that it was just like a new agreement. Like if it wasn't like on her terms,
Right.
oh yeah, you guys seen it in action.
That's how it was with me.
yeah,
Every
but
time
she
it
would
was,
start crying. I'm like, why are you crying?
Yeah.
Like, we're having an adult conversation here. Right?
She
Like,
can't
we're just
handle it.
Can't do it. Yeah.
I
So
don't
at some
Because
point-
I said no to
I
something.
think she
and it
uses
was like a
that.
melt. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
my
100%.
personal
Yeah,
opinion
she
of
had
it.
an audience. Yeah, she had the abuse counselor there.
So at some point she has to put another restraining order on you. Is that how you got arrested again?
No, so that happened before the second court date. Yeah.
Okay.
So I got it mixed up. So I got arrested that first time.
So the same restraining order you violated twice.
Yeah,
and
the
they
same
arrested-
restraining order
she arrested
violated
you.
twice. So it wasn't too long after that first arrest.
Okay.
I was going to pick up my son on like a Thursday, and there was a discrepancy over the court order. I told her, I said, listen, this is simple. We can't change things around. Let's just stick to the court order. Because she's like, can you pick him up here? I was like, the court order state. I said, listen, I'm not trying to get tripped up. I don't want
Right.
any problems. Obviously,
She's going to
you've
use
proven
anything
that
against you.
You can't deviate from the court order because it'll be used. I don't want it to be used against me. Let's just keep it simple. We'll stick to the court order. And straight up response was, you know what? I'm sick of this. And I
Hey,
said,
me too.
And I said, oh boy. And like I knew something was coming, but I didn't know what was coming. Really was coming. And I like, so no responses after that. Nothing. I couldn't get a response out of her. Like I was trying to figure out. It's like, all right, so I'll see you at the usual meetup spot. That's it, plain and simple. So I show up there. I'm sitting there waiting, and I'm like, she's late, which is like,
She ain't
abnormal.
coming.
Yeah, she's not coming. I'm like sitting here. I'm like, all right. So I call a family member, and I'm like, listen.
But at this point, she's late. She's in violation. Did she show up?
She did not show up, but hold on. So I called a family member, and I'm like, listen, like this is odd. So she's not here. She's not communicating with me. She's not responding to any of my messages. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I'm going to go into the police station and report it. It was about 15 minutes of sitting there, like no responses, no nothing. And I had messages like, are you actually showing up or whatever? And she responds, no. So I go in and report it, right? I walk into the police station. I was like, hey, I'm supposed to pick my child up here today. And his mother never showed up. And they're like, okay, cool. I'm like, I just want to have it in writing or whatever, make a verbal complaint. And they're like, okay, just wait here. So I'm talking to my family member on the phone, and I'm standing there. I'm telling her what's going on, and that she kind of guided me on things. Like she went through stuff, like kind of helping me out. And sitting there, I see 2 police officers coming in, and they're staring right at me. And I'm like, man, they're here for me.
Oh my gosh.
So they walk through the door. Now I'm going to pick up my son, and like they walk through the door. I look right at him as I'm on the phone. I said, y'all are here to arrest me, aren't you? And he's like, yes. So they cuff me right there on the spot.
Every time he's going to get to be heard or file something legally or in his way,
right?
Because she's violating it.
She's turning around on you.
Yeah. So it was, I feel like it's like an accountability thing, or maybe like when it's like, okay, it's not on her terms. It's been turned into like a vindictive situation, or like, anytime I have any room to say anything, right? When I'm like, tell her to follow the court order, which she doesn't believe that she has to follow. Right. She believes that she can do whatever she wants, and it doesn't work like that.
But when she wants
it, she's mad because she put these stipulations on me.
Right.
I'm like, now you're annoyed because it's inconveniencing you, but you did this.
Right.
You know? So I'm like, I didn't complain about none of that. Like, dude, I've got inconvenience this entire time. Like, I jumped through hoops, you know?
Yeah.
Drug testing, everything, all of that. And she got mad because I said simply follow the court order. Just follow the court order.
So what did they arrest
That was
you
our
for?
conversation. And to this day, like, I have no idea what the key phrase was in there that got me arrested the second time. Even the judge.
This is wrong.
And
this
dude,
is,
I'm
laughing, but it's not funny.
It's not funny.
I got arrested in one town. They brought me to another 40 minutes away. 40 minutes away. And then they brought me to another where I spent the night in jail. They revoked my bail. So I couldn't even get out. My lawyer's like, dude, they should have just hit you with a summons. They shouldn't have arrested you. Like, this is crazy. I'm like, well, I'm in jail.
This is why these police are out of control. And this is my point, what I said earlier about, look, you got a constitutional duty, period. You shall follow the Constitution. You don't just arrest somebody and strip them of their rights, because I don't care who tells you that.
Right.
You follow the law, and they're not.
Yeah, so that's where I got mixed up. Is like, I got arrested after that second time I got arrested. That conversation we had in court with the abuse counselor and stuff like that was after the fact. That was me getting a final ruling on like my violations and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So now I had to fight 2 violations, right? They had me arrested. I had my day in court after I got out of jail. They brought me the next morning, and the DA was trying to bag me on a technicality, like lock me up. I was going to go for 90 days. And my lawyer's like, please read the context of the messages. And they had realized, like, I hadn't started a single conversation in there. It was all initiated by her all along. They were just responses by me. Like 90% of the conversations are unnecessary.
Manipulation.
You know? Yeah.
And this
even
is
my
this
probation has stated that.
And this is on a court app that you're communicating.
Correct. Yeah.
So they have records of everything. Single message.
And you can't delete nothing in there or anything. And they can log into it and see anything.
So it just proves that it's total bullshit, because they're not looking at it.
So now, mind you, right? I'm now fighting 2 criminal charges, right? 2 domestic abuse charges, right? In court. This is 2 separate battles. Like, the custody one was settled, right?
Yeah, right.
Now I'm fighting 2 criminal charges, and that's still technically ongoing right now. So I had a final here, supposed to be a final hearing.
And let me just clarify: these criminal charges are based off of a text message
Correct.
response.
Yeah. So a slightly off topic sentence.
Wasn't a swear word, wasn't yelling at
based
us.
off of a single word.
Not a threat.
a single word.
I'm not gonna I'm
so
gonna
now
kill you. I'm gonna hurt you.
Nothing. No, not even a swear.
Right.
So no derogatory statements, no nothing. It was a simple follow the rules. Like at least I believe that's the last thing I said before I got arrested, right? The only reason I know what the first one was because she screenshot it and sent it to me, so I knew right away what the problem was. You know,
Oh, this is what she's gonna hook me with,
and
now.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, but even that was
the
so
second time,
weak.
like,
It's not
yeah,
even
right.
funny.
So we're in front of the judge, and the DA is basically trying to pick me apart. Like, technically, it is a violation. Technically, it is this. He said this word. And I'm like, man, nobody gave me an instruction manual to the conversation with restraining order. Like, nobody gave me a manual for that. So, like, so the judge reads all the messages. They have my messages
like
all
a
printed out.
transcript.
They have the whole thing there, and the judge is like, we're gonna take a recess. We'll read the messages. Judge read the messages, comes right out. She's like,
that's bull.
She's like, listen, like, you understand you have a restraining order, like the conversation. She's like, just try not to respond try to respond as little as possible. And I'm like, I understand that. And obviously, like, I had no ill intent with what I said. I didn't know. And she's like, all right, we'll reinstate your bail. Like, we're going to let you walk out of here today.
That's how they're making money.
Yeah. So,
they say don't respond so much, but they don't say anything to her about look at all these ridiculous conversations that you're
This is
initiating.
what I mean
correct.
about
So they
abuse.
don't have the time for that, dude. So they'll look at, like, literally, like, I could pull this thing up right now. There's probably 55 unread messages. And that's like, some days I'll get repeated messages. Some days, like, I only respond when I absolutely have to, you know?
So she can harass the hell out of you.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
And you can't, and you respond and you use the wrong verbiage and you get arrested.
Oh, yeah, correct.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unreal. And, like,
It's illegal what they're doing.
Right.
It's
yeah,
criminal.
but it's like, technically, it is a violation because you directed it at her.
Well, like you said,
and
there should have been.
it wasn't about picking up or dropping off your
Right,
son or
right.
something or a
Right,
doctor's appointment. It wasn't directly just about that
Related.
because I stated
Yeah.
something that was like semi pointed at her, you know, like, and it wasn't like there's never been any aggression at all in there. Like, I walk on eggshells in that thing, you know, and I don't even respond. Like, I barely respond in there. Like,
It ain't worth it.
Yeah, like, I'll give a thumbs up in there. That's about it. Like, so I acknowledge the fact that I saw the message.
That thumb was a little crooked. We're gonna have to arrest you.
Yeah, exactly. You look like a middle finger. yeah, exactly.
Is that the yellow middle thumb? Or what is that?
So I get out of that, right? The judge lets me go. There's still court dates for this stuff, right? So now there's a trial hearing or whatever, right? So I went to several court dates, right? They extended it a couple times after that. They're like, all right, we can't do it today. We're going to move it again. So it's been getting drug out, dude.
But the whole time you're missing work.
No. So after that second arrest, like, things kind of
Calm down.
Yeah, we're settled, right? And I was just awaiting my my
Court case,
court
right? The
case,
hearing.
right? Yeah. So at this point, after that court date, the restraining order was dropped. Like, within, I can't remember the timeline, but shortly after that court date, when I walked out of there, the restraining order was dropped.
Now, who dropped that? The court?
She
or
did.
she?
She dropped it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, she's in full control. This isn't a legal matter. This is a tyrannical matter.
Yeah.
It's what she says, and no matter what, the court isn't looking at this from a family perspective at all. It's not looking at it from equal and fair treatment under
But
the law.
it was dropped as a negotiation tactic, right?
Okay.
You know, so I drop one thing, she drops the other.
So
right?
that was the guardian ad litem thing.
Yeah.
all
And
right.
But okay, right there should have pointed out to the court, be like, why don't you want, if you're afraid of this guy?
Yeah, she's not afraid of him
oh no,
anymore.
she directly stated to the DA that she wasn't afraid of me, and that was before that second arrest. So at the first arrest, it's on record, right? Court transcript, we have it stating that I'm not afraid of him.
So there's no reason for a restraining order.
Correct.
But they still left it there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So it was invoked for a year, right? Until she decides to drop it or the year runs out, and then I have a court hearing on it, right? So that gets
This is
dropped,
insane.
right? That gets dropped. I'm still fighting criminal charges. Still am. We have a court date, and my lawyer's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Like, he told me it's not a quaff, but it's like, it's not a admittance of guilt or anything, but they're like, it's an extended sentence, which basically is a quaff, right? Like it's a semi admittance of guilt, but it goes off your record after a certain amount of time as long as you behave yourself.
This is what's wrong.
Yeah, they
So
want you to take,
I'm like, I didn't do anything. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like I shouldn't have to do
You
it.
didn't
I
do
didn't do
anything.
anything. And he didn't want to take it to trial, right? I think my lawyer was trying to pass it off and leave it in my hands, right? So he's like, okay. He told me something like 6 months, and then it just all goes away. I said, fine. I can behave myself for 6 months. That's not a problem, right? I'll lay low, whatever. I won't have no issues. And she shows up to the court date with that abuse counselor. They add stipulations to it. So now it's a year, right? A year of no stay out of trouble, right? They added a year of abuse counseling to it that I have to pay for. It costs a couple grand, right? Over the course of the year, right? 47 classes I have to take for domestic abuse and a psych eval.
Again,
As
there's
stipulations. And if I miss a single class, boom, I get violated, I get slapped with those charges. Or I go to trial.
This is based on nothing.
What?
Based on her feelings, right? She showed up, and I don't know how she was able to do that, right? Like, we showed up to court, and I didn't expect her to be there. I'm thinking, like, okay, this is all going to be behind me. Like, this is it.
Right.
I'm going to deal with this. This is the worst of it. Like, we're going to be done. I can move on with my life. No. She wanted to hold on to me a little longer. So I have, like, sitting here thinking, he's like, dude, just do the deal. He goes, if we go to trial right now, he goes, the DA could bag you on a technicality. And I'm like, dude, for miswording a sentence, I'm going to get 2 domestic abuse charges for this.
That's malicious.
And I'm like, are you like, I was upset. I'm like, dude, do your job. Like,
Right.
fight for me. Right. Like, he's like, dude, I'm telling you that this is the deal to take. And I'm like, a year of abuse counseling and a psych eval. I'm like, the psych eval's whatever. That's nothing.
Right.
I go in maybe 1 or 2 times. I'm probably going to be done with it. I'm not crazy. But a year to drag this out for another year and keep me under probation conditions.
Right. Plus, you got to pay for.
And I got to pay for it. So mind you that, like, that's what I'm saying. It's like they have
It's
me,
repulsive at this point.
They put the fear of God in you, right? Like,
Right.
So it's like, okay, if you miss one of these classes, that's it. It's a violation. You're done. And I'm like, are you serious? So I was like, whatever. If this is the best deal, let's do it. So I'm like, all right, this is it. Like not only was it like they gave me all the contacts and stuff like that, the courts, they put me on probation. I have a probation officer. Also, on top of those classes and the psych eval, I was put no longer allowed to be within 50 yards of her. No communication about anything besides my son again. So we're back on
The restraining
order conditions. And if I violate any of those, boom, I get slapped with those charges. That's still a violation, right? So she's got me surrounded, dude, right? Like if I slip up here, boom, I wind up with the domestic abuse charges. If I slip up here, I also wind up with domestic abuse charges.
All because you broke up with a girl.
If I can't, exactly.
This is ridiculous.
And I didn't do anything to her, right? So I have these 3 things that if there's any faults done, I can get bagged.
Right.
So I'm sitting here thinking, like, man, I'm bugging out. I'm like, dude, I got to do a year of this. And I'm like, this is crazy. Anything can happen in that year. And
Well, especially with her.
yeah, with her, you don't know what's going to happen, right, dude?
Correct. She's planning something. There ain't
Yeah,
no
so
doubt.
especially under those conditions, dude. Yeah, right. So we jump back to where we started in the beginning here, right? The motorcycle
Stolen
incident.
motorcycle.
Oh yeah, boom. She already knows that if I get picked up by the police, if I got arrested, those charges stick. She knows that, and she knows that because my probation officer called me and goes, well, we get notified when you get picked up by the police. We heard you got picked up on Friday. I said, yes, I did. And she goes, well, we didn't even have to wait for the system to notify us because she called us immediately.
This is a setup. This is what I mean. At this point,
Yeah,
this is gross.
probation's like, we can see what's going on. And they're like, listen, I'm going to jump back here. So that's just saying, like, they know what's going on with her at this point. To step back like a little bit, I had to go meet with the domestic abuse counseling classes, right? I had trouble trying to sign up, even find it. The courts gave me like bunk numbers that I couldn't even get a hold of nobody. So it was like, you know, cat and mouse chase of trying to find, right, dude. No wonder why people have issues with mental health, because it's next to impossible to get a psych eval, right? Like, I called the numbers they gave me and they were dead numbers, or they didn't offer the services. I called my local hospitals to try to get into these things. And I'm checking with my probation officer while I'm doing all these things. And they're like, man, we'll try. And they had the same problems. So now we're going on two to 2.5 months now of trying to get into these classes. And so they finally get a hold of people in the domestic abuse classes. Still no luck with the psych eval stuff. We finally get in with the domestic abuse. I show up for my appointment there. I had to pay $150 to get the appointment. I went down and I talked to the woman down there, and I explained to her my situation. She goes, listen, we're not going to take you. They're like, there's nothing we can do for you here, and it's a waste of time. Like, you have to admit to domestic abuse. And if you did nothing, I'm like, talk to my probation. Like, we'll figure this out. It's like, I told her my story, and she was like, straight up, you need a better lawyer.
100%.
She's like, we deal with this all the time. And she's like, it sounds like your lawyer wanted to wash his hands of this situation, and that's why you're here.
I told you exactly that.
And I showed her everything. And she thought it was just as crazy as everybody else thinks it is, because I told her about the drug test. And she goes, are you a drug addict? I said, no. She goes, that's insanity.
Yeah.
She goes, and I told her how the frequency and all that stuff. She goes, that's absolutely insane. She goes, listen, this place is not for you. And like, she could tell within the 10-minute conversation that we had that she's like, yeah, you don't belong here. So I'm like, all right, what do I do? She's like, well, we're not going to take you. She goes, I'm going to give you a phone number, talk to your probation officer, let her know what I said, and have her get in touch with us. So I said, all right. I sent the number over to my probation officer, and they contacted the person over there. They had a conversation, and they're like, listen, don't worry about the domestic abuse classes right now. We're probably not going to have you do them. So I was like, oh, thank God.
Jeez.
So they're like, let's try to appease the courts in some manner. They're like, try to get the psych eval. And I'm like, I'm telling them, I'm like, listen, I've been trying. And like, I'm striking out even with the local hospitals and stuff like that. I don't know who else to call for this shit. And they're like, she's like, okay, we'll figure it out. So we're back in a situation where we're going back and forth trying to figure this out. So that was my phone conversation with them the other day. And she's like, I'm letting you know that, hey, like, I'm calling you in the last 10 minutes of my shift. She goes, because I have to call your ex. And she goes, we've been dealing with her. And she's like, I don't want to talk to her for an hour again. She's like, I'm calling her so I can cut her off. So I don't have to deal with this for an hour. She goes, the phone calls are insane. And I have no idea. Like, mind you, like, they called me like a week prior to that and stated they're like, they gave me a warning. They go, listen, we told her something she didn't like, and we're about to tell her something she's really not going to like. They didn't tell me what it was, but they're like, get ready for retaliation because it may happen. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, let me know.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to talk about it, but they're like, me and the DA are in talks. And they're like, they also let me know that they read all my messages, and the probation and the DA stated, they go, we didn't see a single violation in there. And I was like, they're like, they asked me like at the last meeting, they're like, why didn't you take it to trial? I said, because I had nobody on my side. Jeez. I said, everybody was out to get me. I had nobody willing to help me. And I was like, now you guys are seeing what I'm seeing.
And not to mention, you were already drained of all your resources.
Drained, yeah, completely. I'm
all on the line.
literally hanging by a thread. Like, dude, it's like, I barely made it out of this by the skin of my teeth, dude. Like, it's been rough.
Yeah, it sounds terrible.
And like that all happened in such a short amount of time, dude. It was just so chaotic. And it's like, I just want to move on with my life. Like, just leave me
Well,
alone.
you've said that the whole time. I'm going to share something that you and I have said, and there's been conversations where you were like, dude, I can't take this anymore. I can't understand what's going on. Nobody's listening to me. The courts aren't defending me. They're not even listening to a fair trial. I'm at my wit's end. And you've literally been, and I could tell it in your voice just from speaking to you over the phone. I don't care whether it was you or somebody else. The tone and I'll say it's the outreach of desperation, saying, I don't know what to do. I'm just at my end. And what she's been able to get away with due to the court's failure. And that's what this is. The court, the police, everybody in the legal system has failed the entire premise of what justice is here.
And that's the
And they
thing, is,
need to
like,
pay for that.
she'll say that she's the victim in all of this.
There's nothing.
All while like everything's happening. to
What
me,
has
you
she been the victim of anything?
know? I have no idea.
She's not. Has she had to pay anything?
So that's the thing, is like, she was able to do this. Now, this is just my belief. I don't know it to be fact, but from what I'm told, she didn't pay her lawyer a dime. Like, which I don't understand. That's just what I was told. I have no visible proof about it, but it was
and
like,
here's what I say to that. That's hearsay. I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't know. And that's what the court should say. The same thing.
Yeah.
It's irrelevant to me. What's relevant to me and to what I would figure our listeners to be is the fact that this has been done to a human being, meaning you in this particular instance. And if it's being done to you, it's been done to many others.
oh
And-
yeah, I'm
and
not alone. Yeah, like I said, there's worse.
Just as in
Some
my
not as well.
case, the problem that I've realized is there are people that don't know where to turn. They don't have any resources.
There is none.
I've been fortunate to be in the positions that I've held throughout my careers and followed my life and know how to battle back on certain scenarios. And that's why I know how to battle back on this. And I know that the court and the police and everybody involved is wrong. Everybody involved is wrong, and shame on them for not standing up for what is at least right, or at least what they're seeing from their own purview. That is a crying shame, and it's abuse of the system, and you're the one that's the sacrificial lamb to pay for it, and that is disgusting on every basic principle of law.
And
by what they've done to
they
you.
keep everybody at the bottom in the dark, right? So it's like the blind leading the blind, right? Like, so the police, like all these people in the courts and all that stuff, they're told the bare minimum, right? So they have a basic understanding of what's going on, but no actual factual evidence or nothing. And that's, I don't know, I feel like that's by design, right? Like, that's to get you there. You're in the system, okay? And then you just get drug. And
Yeah, but it's
everything's in the
not
judge's
everybody's
hands.
getting drug. I could understand.
no, there's a winner in every situation, right? Like, that's what I said. Like, what I was talking about before, it's who gets to it first.
I don't agree. I don't
Right.
think that's true either. I don't think that's true at all. It shouldn't matter who gets to it first. Again, the
I agree,
principle
yeah.
of law is being missed.
Yeah, due process was shut that
Due
down.
process, fair
immediately.
and
Yeah.
equal treatment under the law
100%.
is self-evident. And here it's pretty self-evident that it's been a one-sided hung jury claim against you where you've not been allowed to speak. Even on your day of court, you got arrested for a criminal charge because of a technicality. I don't care how they phrase it. It either is or it isn't. There is no such thing as a technicality in the rule of law. There is, you can, and that's at discretion, and that's when bullshit and tyranny
Oh,
happens.
yeah. I had a judge look me right in the face and go, listen, I'm not asking you to explain. I'm asking if you understand what I'm saying.
That's a tyrant.
And I'm like,
That's a tyrant.
You don't get to plead your case.
yeah, straight up telling you, like, I don't care what you say. I'm asking you if you understand what I'm telling you to do.
And that is wrong.
100%.
That judge needs to be sanctioned. He needs to be in jail. He needs to be behind bars and knows what the cold steel feels like. Yeah. That's what that person needs to feel, because that person is a tyrant. And that is everything.
I couldn't believe it either, man. And I'm like, where are we? Like,
well, yeah, it's backwards world.
Yeah, like, saying that really is. I'm like,
we're not in El Salvador, pal.
I'm in the court, and the clerk told me to close my mouth, that I had no reason to be speaking. And I'm like,
you serve the public. You serve the public.
They wouldn't even listen to my lawyer in court. They basically told her to shut up too.
It's ridiculous.
They let her.
Well, shame on her for not filing for a sanction of the court, because that's what she should have done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're afraid
I have no idea. Yeah, they are. And I feel like dude, they
have the legal knowledge and wherewithal to know how to at least fight this back for fairness. Otherwise,
I mean,
it's
you think they do, right?
No, I know they do.
Like, I learned a lot in this whole process that, like, not every lawyer is a lawyer, right? They got an easy job. Like, I feel like with the lawyer that I had, I could have certainly said yes to everything that my ex's lawyer said too.
Got paid,
like, I'm like, dude,
blah, blah, blah.
I'm like, I spent money for you to literally not defend me,
do nothing,
and I had to tell you to do your job.
Yep.
Like, go defend me.
Yep.
Looking at me like a scared dog. Like, what do I do? Like,
yeah.
If
like, it's
are
not
you lost,
if they can't take a plea bargain or do what the judge says,
or what the other lawyer says, I'm like, are you serious right now?
They basically just want to file paperwork.
That's it.
And they don't want to fight.
They
don't want to argue.
And like, I presented like rock solid evidence on things too. And it was like, made no motion on it. I had to collect my entire case file myself. I had help. Like, it was like me and a family member did it all. We collected everything, put it right on our desk. Here you go. Here's all the evidence you need. Look through this. Let's present our case. Dude, rock solid. I mean, I had proof. She had nothing. And I got dog walked.
Yeah, that's right.
Dog walked.
So one of the things I want to preview these episodes with is we're looking for legal representation. You tell us what it's going to cost. We'll get the resources or provide them and take a stand against this tyrannical rule. The state is not untouchable.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
They can be touched. And I've already talked this over with my wife. I've talked this over with look, this has angered me at this point so bad that I even feel like I got to stand up for what's right here and put up or shut up. And that's honestly where I'm at with it, which I'm willing to do. But I'm also asking our viewers to share this, to support it. I don't know if we come up with a special T-shirt we sell, like you said, T-Bigs or what do we call justice for bigs or something like that.
Free big.
Free big. So I don't know exactly how we're going to do it, but I do want to add a preview to each one of these, and I think we're going to break this up into segments because we started at 7. We are 2.5 hours in, roughly, plus the hour that we spent. So we're 3.5 hours. It's a half a day's worth of sitting here just bringing up this case, which I'm glad we did. Rich, follow 100%. Through with it. Anything you'd like to close with?
I feel like a lot, due to social media and a lot of things, there's a lot of people that are going to try to do what we're talking about. And there's people actively trying to do that. So we're not the only ones out there, but I feel like there will be a change in the courts if enough people continue to file lawsuits, right? So it's potential for change and to get things moving in the right way for our rights in the family courts or in the criminal courts for any matter, so.
And I think we all agree that there are bum dads out there.
Oh, absolutely.
There are assholes that walk this planet. But those people should be vetted out, and just as much as the good guys should be vetted out. The problem here is there was no vetting.
No vetting, yeah.
There was no given a fair shot. There was did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
And that was it. That's tyrannical.
Yeah. Kevin says, he says this all falls on the judges. A judge issued the first restraining order that set the tone for the whole injustice. Judges need to be held personally accountable.
I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
and so the way that they make things like that messy is they will file it in multiple court systems so nobody communicates, right? This is my situation. So the restraining order was filed in one court, upheld in family court, and then the violations were filed in another court. So now I'm fighting this in 3 different courts.
Well,
Right.
shame
And
on the courts.
So now
period.
I'm fighting a criminal case in 2 courts. It's being upheld in my family court matter. So now none of them communicate. All they know is there's an active restraining order. So they don't know what it's for, none of this shit. This
Right.
court issued it. This judge issued it. Then extended it. Then this judge filed violations on it. Right.
So if
2
it was all
violations.
tied together, then they could see
They
the
could
big
see
picture.
the big picture, but they don't.
Right.
So it's like that's where it gets messy. So now I'm dealing with a judge that has no idea what the original standing was.
Yeah.
All
so
they
you
know is there's violations, and they look at it. Okay, technically it is.
stand
They don't look
alone.
at they're not looking at the whole picture, you know.
Right.
So it's like, dude, that's I don't know if that was intentional or what, but dude, it
Sounds
makes
like
things
it.
way harder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you feel like there's a playbook to this or something. I swear.
Yeah.
well, no
well-
matter what, they failed to follow the law.
Yeah,
period.
absolutely, yeah.
That's it.
That's they failed
From
to
the
follow the
start.
basic principles of law. And so for anybody to be called a lawyer or a judge in this case is disgusting because they are violating the basic principles of law.
Correct. And this is not anything new, right? This has been happening for a long
Well,
time.
and that's the problem. The status
Yeah.
quo. I call it the
Yeah,
status
you got
quo.
people who went through family court in the 80s telling these same
Right.
stories.
And
you
then
know,
there's
right?
people that paid
nothing's changed.
for domestic abuse counseling for a year when they
Yeah,
didn't do
didn't do
anything.
anything.
And there's
Yeah,
people
this
that
is-
are paying for drug tests.
This
and
is
they're not,
nothing new, and like it definitely has to change
It
because
does.
these false allegations have huge consequences on people's lives,
Wow.
right? Like you can change a person's life, like
and
in
it's
the
changed
worst
their
way.
life.
Oh, for sure.
You
Like
know?
I'll tell you, just everything that I went through, I don't even feel like the same person anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like I view everything differently, and like
It's called jaded, right?
it is, and like absolutely, like my trust in women was crushed.
Oh,
dude.
I'm
like,
sure.
and like just all around, like I look at life completely differently because of the way I was treated in the court system. You know, you're like, okay, there is no justice. You feel like there is no justice,
Yeah.
right? And there is no right.
Well, there clearly wasn't any justice.
Yeah,
There wasn't any evaluation. There was no judgment, equal judgment under the law. And it was all based on hearsay. That is
yeah, and
Atrocious.
The numbers are staggering on that. Like to the amount of people that this happens to, is
Well,
unreal.
And then this is your first time dealing in the legal
Correct.
system,
Yeah,
right?
so-
I mean, you
so-
said it yourself. You've never had any issues. You've never been arrested. You've never had any trouble. And here you go to family court, and this is the experience you get. And it's totally unwarranted. It's unjustified, and it's unfair. you
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
And here's, like I said, I haven't known you for very long, but I'm a pretty good judge of character, and you seem very straightforward and honest, and you're getting the shaft,
oh, for sure. Yeah,
you're getting
You're getting
the
the shaft.
yeah.
It's not good, and I know Eric. I know this is a passion of yours, and I know that he wants to help you and back you up, and we're gonna have to do a follow up on this because obviously the story is not ended. I mean, you're
it's
still
not
dealing
ended.
with it.
Yeah, I'm still technically probation conditions and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I'm still working through sorting out the abuse counselor situation and the psyche vows and stuff. I'm still under probation conditions right now, still actively dealing with that, like hoping to resolve this
Yeah.
soon, right? Like, and just pray nothing else happens
Oh,
after that, right?
I do too.
And just so our audience
when you
knows,
think you're done, something else happens.
Well,
It's
you
just
said
like,
it's been
yeah.
quiet, so it's the
Yeah.
calm before the storm. You don't know what's coming,
Yeah.
but I think we got to have him back in 3 months, 6 months, whatever the case may be.
2 weeks just to even see because it seems to be arrested every other week,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
how
it's
about
not that
every
much.
time you get arrested, you come
Yeah, I
back?
just come back.
He's
Yeah.
back.
We'll put our
Just
Thursday
update.
away.
Yeah,
All right, Tyler's coming back. He got arrested, so we'll make it the 1st and the 15th.
yeah. There you go.
So I did want to say something there that was So for the sake of verifying, we do or would like help from outside sources, because I think we need to either ask directly the court systems for the transcripts of your each case to record what each judge said, what your lawyer said, or what you said in the courtroom. That may have to be done by a FOIA request. And I believe once a FOIA request is made on these cases, it's going to raise flags and bring attention to the court system to make them start questioning what they're doing. They may back off, they may not. Personally, for the sake of winning this battle and making it to be shown as gross as what it already has been, I hope they don't. And not to martyr you, but to really batten down, basically dig in the trenches here and battle this one out. I want to battle this out with you. Financially and advisory is all I can offer. I mean, albeit I'm not a lawyer, I study this legal stuff and I know the basics, right? Because that's what everybody's entitled to. The law is not meant to baffle people or confuse them. And I don't care what a lawyer says.
Yeah, it's not a guideline.
Right. The law is for the people, period, for the people. And the basic law is founded in our Constitution, and your constitutional rights have been violated by the seizing of property unduly and not given back to you. And clearly can be shown that not only was the property seized, but they tried to manipulate you after you asked them 2 or 3 times saying, no, listen, I want to get that back now. Here, I've got an FFL. Look, it's property. I don't care if it's a gun. I don't care what it is. You're legally entitled to own it. And they clearly are trying to manipulate you by using tactics of subversion and coercion to keep you from getting what is rightfully yours. That's why the police departments need to be held to the same legal standard. That's why the courts need to be held to the standard. You can't do this to a human being and be just in this country. We have laws that protect us from that. And it's time that people take a stand. I'm going to do what I can, Tyler. And I don't know. I think we need help, a body of people that are willing to step up and help. And then the financial resources, I'm not denying that. Kevin Brown said they can probably deny a FOIA request by saying this is ongoing. Kevin, maybe they can, maybe they can't. The case itself is ongoing, but as
the
Tyler
restraining
has stated,
order the restraining order is gone. Like, that's done. But
okay,
the violations, I'm assuming they're handling them separate, because the restraining order is one court and that was dropped, but the violations were upheld in another court. So I don't know how it all works, but it's 2 separate courts.
right. Well, denying it is one thing, but what would be the reason of denying the information of release? What you said in court, you shouldn't be ashamed of, particularly as a judge.
And I don't know the status of the situation right now because of like what that agreement I made in court about taking those classes and stuff like that. I don't know if the court considers that still ongoing. But it may be until it's satisfied within the year or whatever. Like, I wonder I have no idea how that works.
So basically, it's a suspended for a year.
Yeah, but they told me it wasn't a quaff. It wasn't a suspended sentence, but it sounds exactly like a quaff, right? Like, because they're looking for a semi-admittance of guilt, right? Like, which I didn't give them. So now we're looking at like potentially going to trial. I have no idea what's going on right now. I'm just waiting to ride this out with probation and stuff.
That's another piece of help we could use. I mean, if share this, if you know an attorney, have them watch this, listen to it on the podcast, in their car, just listen to it. And if you got to contact us, 56Plus1 is available to you. We will get you in touch with Tyler. We will bring Tyler in. We will do what we have to do, but this needs further attention, eyeballs, ears, and hands on this matter. Not just for Tyler, but for the sanity and sanctity of the law that we are founded on.
We'll call how many other victims of the
Man,
same
I'll tell
type
you
of
what,
situation.
you go stand, walk into a family court one day and just stand there, right? Stand in front of the probation office and just listen to the conversations. I went to court. She held me in contempt like last week. I was standing in court.
We're not going to his attorney, Kevin.
Yeah.
He apparently, I got to be honest, I'm not impressed. That's the nicest way I'll say that.
Yeah. So you sit there and you listen. You can hear everybody's story,
Right.
And it's like
They're not good.
There's 30 people standing next to me in the same exact situation as I am. Like everyone's a little bit different, but it's the same story, man.
And those guys, maybe some of them are jerks or assholes or whatever, bad people.
You don't know everybody's situation, obviously,
Right.
but it's like it's more common than anything, to have these situations.
The fact is, there wasn't fair and equal treatment under the law.
Correct. And that's the fact is like there are several people there that had false restraining orders that are fighting the same thing. And they're like, dude.
Kevin, would you
crazy.
like to call in and just add a little bit to this?
I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Oh, yeah. Rich wants to wrap it up. We've been on here for 2.5 hours, just over 2.5. But all right, why don't we wrap it up and then we'll follow back up with.
The story's deep.
Yeah, so we'll do a follow up with you, Tyler. I mean, your story is it's an amazing story. I mean, I can't believe the stuff that you've gone through. It's for you to be sitting here and not in prison right now. I think that that shows some amazing self control, and it says a lot about your character. I appreciate you coming on and talking about this and bringing light to the situation. And hopefully, we can get something done.
That'd be great, man. To make a change here, and if I got to be the face of that, I'm willing to do it. So
that's awesome.
What we got to do is we got to find a bulldog, an actual bulldog attorney. I don't want to hear the word that I'm a bulldog. Look, if you're willing to stand up and you're willing to take the case legally, we'll provide you with a team and we'll provide the resources to make that happen. But this needs to stop. And the state, in my opinion, needs to be sued for punitive damages.
I agree.
That's Kevin.
So anyway,
hey, Kevin, we're just wrapping up real quick. So
I got that. Yeah.
we'll just go ahead.
I just think there's things that feels like an even halfway decent lawyer would have caught. When they went to his criminal charges, I don't know why. So the only thing that was ever filed to start this was hearsay.
That's exactly the problem.
Yeah.
In the criminal case, once he got criminal charges against them because of the restraining order, I would have thought that with saying, okay, then we're going to go back to your original evidence for the restraining order. You need to show us that. And then once that happened and there was no real evidence for a restraining order, you call that into question, have it removed, and then it's through the poisonous tree.
Yeah. So
anything that happened after that is bullshit.
Yeah,
I
at the
agree
original hearing, she was asked to present evidence and stuff like that, and the only thing she could do was ask to refer back to her affidavit, and which she couldn't even remember what she put on it
because it's a lie.
She asked her. Yeah,
but that's my point.
Yeah, it's crazy.
In a family court, that doesn't really matter because they don't care.
They don't care.
But in a criminal court, you're being charged with something that they have to provide evidence for.
Yeah, and she didn't do that.
Right.
Like I said, the only thing that was submitted was a picture of me holding a firearm, and then the other picture was a picture of my my gun safe, which she took the picture of me holding the firearm, which was like one I just finished. It was a collector's rifle I had, and then she took a picture of my open gun safe with all my firearms in it, and that's all she brought, and a story.
Yep.
Kevin, you said something that I got to be honest, I'm quite frankly tired of hearing. Well, in a family court, no, in every court in America, you are entitled to the certain rights, laws, and equal treatment and justice under the law. Period.
Yeah, I guess, but I agree. But in a family court, there's this overwhelming feeling that the concept of protection outweighs the inconvenience, as they call it, of a restraining order.
Okay, fine, protect. But don't accost in the meantime. You protect both, and you give the other side the fair and equal treatment to defend.
Correct, and that gave her major leverage in our custody battle by having that restraining order, right?
But my point is that once it goes to a criminal court, you have inalienable rights And one of those is to prove that the original complaint against you was factual.
Well, wait
Just
a minute.
because you said it does not
Yeah,
make
it's
it factual.
I'm assuming that
I
both the lawyers
agree.
I had were absolute trash. Like,
Yeah.
just given the
100%.
circuit, like neither one of them really fought for me.
So
Like-
wait a minute. Okay, there's two amendments that are being violated here, and that's the fifth, the due process of the
Yeah.
fifth under the federal aspect, and then the due process of the 14th under the state aspect. So they have both been violated because he was not given due process. He wasn't even given a right to speak before anybody. He was just cuffed every time, and property was seized from him. So there's a Fourth Amendment violation right
right,
there. So I mean, at some point, the lawyers have to get back to the basics. And again, that lady that wears the blindfold with the scales in her hand is not supposed to look at male or female. It's supposed to look at, are we following the law and what scale is weighted here? Therein lies my fundamental problem with all of this. I don't care how mean somebody looks, whether they're black, whether they're white, they're short, they're tall, they're fat, they're skinny. It makes no difference. But I don't know. I've got nothing else to go on. That they're making prejudice, bias, judgmental conclusions in this case, or sexist conclusions on the basis of nothing but hearsay. And therein lies the legal issue, period.
Right. So a lot of this started, as far as I remember, back from the 80s into the early 2000s, when there were many women that were hurt or killed in the breakup scenario of the men. And so they went drastically to the women's side for restraining orders and all this other shit.
Okay, I
And
get that.
unfortunately, there's been no, it just has kept rolling in that direction. There's been nothing to hold them back and say, use a little common sense, because not every situation is going to end up here. You know? And all it takes now is for women, like we see, to make a false complaint.
There's damage on both
And
sides
it's
now,
wrong.
you know?
You know?
You're taking
Yeah.
a chance with with false charges will literally push certain people to their breaking point, you know?
Oh, that's a good
No, I
point.
mean,
You know, so
Listen,
it has both sides, and I feel like the later happens more often than like somebody actually going off and killing somebody over a
Sure.
restraining order. I feel like people who get falsely charged because
in
they're-
this scenario, the fact is that she should have to have some supporting witness or somebody else. to
absolutely, yeah,
verify
there was
her
nothing.
claim.
There was nothing.
And that's
Yeah.
all you got to ask for is, okay, who else can verify this complaint? And if nobody else can, then the court needs to take it for what it is.
Yeah,
and that's probably a big old lie.
there's this wording. We have to err on the side of caution because when they tell a crazy story,
The caution of what, though? They're
Her-
erring on the
her
side of the
words,
caution
yeah.
of violating somebody's rights.
yeah,
You're not erring on that side of caution.
so
You're erring
she
on the side of protecting somebody who's a little nuts.
she didn't reference her affidavit at all. Almost in court the day that we were there, when she got it extended, she came up with a whole new story, and the courts ate that up. Yeah.
It still sounds like somebody was coercing or coaching her on what to say.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it was a doctored story that was absolutely made to make me look bad, you know? So otherwise there was no reason to uphold it. So she was told to say some crazy stuff, some jaw-dropping comments, use some punchlines, use my firearms against me, my image for another matter.
Especially in Massachusetts, they love them.
Yeah, and the fact like they look at me, dude, and like, dude, like I'm covered in tattoos, like I'm a bigger guy, so it's like they're like, yeah, he did it, you know, like
Yeah. So
You
for
know,
the listeners on the podcast, how tall are you?
6'1".
6'1". You're covered in tattoos. You got neck tattoos. You got your arms covered. You're jacked. Bald
You know,
head.
it doesn't really matter though. My brother went through a divorce, no kids. His wife is freaking certifiably crazy, or ex-wife as she is now. She was already left the house and was living with another guy and had made all kinds of false claims against my brother to the
Felt
point
that.
where he was expecting all this bullshit. He brought all his guns to my house and had me lock them up one. Because he figured she was going to make an accusation that he pulled a gun on her or something.
Yeah,
He
see,
goes, "I
mine
don't
came
have
out of
any-"
nowhere. Mine
Yeah,
came
he
out of
goes, "I don't
nowhere.
have any-"
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't know.
it's crazy, man.
It is, and I'm sorry that you had to go through all this. I mean, with the kid involved, like I said, it forces you to endure everything.
It does. It sucks because like you feel like there's no help for you, you know, like you deal with all this and I know everything will come to light eventually, and it's like you have to ride this out, and
Are you guys still-
people
you're
will
off the
start to see the
podcast, right?
gaps. What's that?
You're up alive now, right?
No, we're still on.
Oh, you're still alive. So I guess the question I wanted to ask, a little bit more personal question for you, is how is your relationship with your son right now?
Awesome.
I mean,
Yeah, we
obviously,
never
like-
had any issues with our relationship. Yeah, my son is my little twin, man. He's every bit of me.
Good. I mean, sometimes these, can cause a little tension between you, and I was hoping that.
Oh, in the beginning, there was like definitely a bunch of manipulation that was going on, and he was coached to say and think a certain way.
Right.
And within 10 minutes of him being around me, that changed, right? It started off like
Back
he was
with
being
Dad.
weird, silent, yeah, like not saying much, acting like he was scared, and then 10 minutes later, he's right back to being himself. You know?
So
Once,
amongst all of this other stuff, she tried to weaponize him against you.
oh, absolutely, in the beginning, and she didn't have a single thing she could go off of. And I'll give you the scenarios that she used in the therapy sessions. Super simple, just regular like parenting situations, and like everybody can relate to this thing. Like she used a situation where I was asking him to pick out his dinner one night, and I didn't yell at him or anything. She was actually on the phone. She called him and had him stand next to me on the phone, and like to purposely like give me a hard time about something. And I was like, "Listen, dude, I'm like, it's 8:30. I'm literally gonna just cook this for you." And she messaged me on like the app and was like, "Why are you yelling at him? Blah blah blah." And I'm like, "I wasn't yelling at him. I was just having a conversation, telling him to pick something to eat for dinner." So that's the one she brought to the therapist, right? And then the other scenario was I was underneath my car working on my car, and I snapped a bolt off the steering column. So
It's a bad day.
that hour job turned into my all day project. And I swore, and I threw a wrench out from underneath my car. And I got up, like I took a break. My son was standing in the door. So he's like, "Daddy yelled." Yeah, of course I yelled.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, like that ruined my day. So whatever.
If your dad doesn't yell, you don't have a dad.
That's so.
I'd be under the
it was
prison
used through
if
like
that were the law.
I want to say like coercive control to like kind of say things in a manner to be like, "Oh, did that scare you? The way Daddy yelled, did that make you scared?" And he was like, "Okay, maybe it did," you know. And the same thing was like the way Daddy responded to you. Did that make you nervous? Maybe you were a little scared, and of course, the kids are like, "Okay, maybe a little bit."
Right.
It's scary when Daddy yells, and I don't yell, dude. Like that's like one thing. Like unless I snap a bolt at my steering column, then I'll be yelling. But
but you're not yelling at.
I'm not yelling at him. You know?
somebody up there.
Exactly. It's yeah. I'm not like that. Me and his relationship is so easy, dude. Like I have no issues with him at all. And she can't say the same. You know, he gives her a hard time.
Crazy.
Like, yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's the status of her other child? How old is he now?
He's in his 20s.
And what does he think about all this?
Yeah, she didn't have custody of him. He is a bad person.
Wow.
Yeah, so he was married, divorced, he beat his wife. I know it. He beat 3 of his girlfriends while I actually kicked him out of my house and made him go live with his father. After 2 of his ex-girlfriends approached us and said that they were abused by him, and then I basically wrote him off after his wife was like got out of the house. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he backed her into a corner, spit in her face, and was beating her. Yeah. So, like, confirmed, and he didn't even deny it. He completely agreed to it. And I'm like, dude, you're a POS, man. Like, dude.
Too bad you can't get them 3 to testify that his mom taught him those traits.
Oh, he is like, oh, man, yeah, he's your typical, like, and, like, I don't know. There's a personality disorder there, 100%. And you could see the switch up, and his mom's the same way.
Yeah, it seems like it runs in the family.
Yeah, it does. And like, like I've spoken to like other family members, and they're like, absolutely, yeah. There's mental illness in that family, 100% confirmed. You know, so, she's just real good at it. You know,
Yeah.
You know, so
Most of the crazy ones are.
Yeah, the sad thing is like she's not stupid. Like she's an intelligent psychopath.
She is.
Right.
Like she's
Super
calculated. Like
yeah.
oh yeah, she's
Manipulative
calculated. Yeah, she's
She's good at it.
She's good at it.
She's been doing it her whole life.
I'll admit that. And I'm like, dude, this is insane.
Yeah.
Like,
So, in all fairness, I asked your brother, I'm like, well, how did Tyler, for all this time, get mixed up with her? And I mean, Justin. Justin said, he's like, look, dude, he's like, we all told him this from the beginning. You didn't want to listen.
Hey,
Yeah,
he was
everybody
18.
said
He's
it,
banging
yeah.
his 26-year-old.
yeah,
He's a real-
I'll tell
There
y'all.
you go.
Listen to your friends, man. They'll see things you don't.
So there's a manipulation thing that I think is a play here, right? Psychological manipulation, young.
Oh
man.
yeah, no, it happened the
Like,
whole entire
mature-
relationship. I'll tell you that because anything I found joy in, she tried to ruin. Like before I went to do it, like it was a common thing. Like okay, something I enjoyed, it would be made. There would be an argument started before I did it, just to make me not even want to do it. So it was like that was happening constantly, and that I realize now that that's a form of manipulation
Right.
to get you to not do something or to get you to follow that. Like, and you don't realize that. You think it's just the typical argument or her just being a pain.
I want to be with you and hang out. and-
But it's not that.
It's
no,
control.
it's control. Yeah, it's all
No, it's
manipulation.
simply
Control.
about it.
Yeah,
There should be nothing in your life that isn't about her.
yeah, That's exactly what it was. And it's like, dude, you don't know till you go through it. Like, man, I didn't know people like that existed, dude. And it's like, whew,
So
I believe in the devil because of her.
So this last 20 minutes, I'm glad you called in, Kevin, because I think we're going to use that as part of our clip farm to get people to listen to the other segments. And I think we'll crop this out or clip it at 10-minute or 20-minute increments to see how many people we can follow along and see what the audience is. We're going to add our intros and our outros to it, supporting the request for legal help as we go through this process.
Yeah, I sat here and listened to the whole thing tonight. I think it's pretty compelling. And anybody who sits here and doesn't feel for you, I don't know, they're probably a little weird themselves. So it's just a tragedy of our justice system that just allowed this to occur.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it needs to change.
Yeah, it sucks. Like to the point where I'm at right now. Like it just feels like normal life.
Yeah. Well,
Like, and that's part of the change that happened to me. Like, it's just like, okay, this is the way things are.
sounds
Yeah.
like there's a
I mean,
light at
to-
the end
to
of the
me,
tunnel.
the whole thing had spawned off that restraining order that never should have been issued.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, things would have
Listen,
turned out a
if I
lot
walk-
different.
If I walk into a police department and say, "Hey, he robbed the bank," and they're like, "Okay, where's the evidence?" No. I'm just telling you, he robbed the bank. They're not going to go arrest you. They might investigate.
That's my
Yeah, but
entire
you
point.
understand, like,
They might
there's
find some-
different,
They might have to try and find some probable cause, but they're sure as hell not just going to go, "Okay, there you go, he's under arrest."
Yeah, if I
That's
walked in
basically
there
what they did to you.
and said that a woman yelled at me and I'm scared of her, they're gonna laugh at me.
Right.
And even if I walked in and said that my girlfriend hit me and I'm scared, they're gonna laugh at me.
They're
dude.
going to arrest you for false
Well,
statement.
Yeah, I'll probably go to jail, right?
Yeah.
They'll be like, "Why are you saying
Here's the
this?"
stupid thing. She didn't even claim that she claimed that you might be suicidal.
Yep,
It's
And that's what they
ridiculous.
used to issue a restraining order.
Yeah,
She didn't
and
say you were going to harm her
yep.
or your kid or
There was
anybody else.
no accusations of any harm at all.
And as far as I'm concerned, if they showed up at your house with an ambulance and said we want to check you out, that would have been more reasonable to me.
No,
than issue a
it was
restraining order that you weren't even aware of.
it was a drop of the hat restraining order. It was something she was bitter. I think it may have had something to do with because that weekend I went away. I went on a date, a singular date. I went on a singular date and she found out about it and I came home to a restraining order.
Well, judging by how fast you said she got engaged, my guess would be that she was planning to dump you. And you beat her to it. There's some psycho
and like I
women
said,
that really
I have no evidence of
drive
that,
through.
but I highly suspect that. I feel like she was so upset because I beat her to the punch.
Yeah.
You took away her power.
Yeah, I had suspicions of things. I can't confirm any of it, but I had suspicions through actions that were different.
Yep.
I watched things, routines changed, and I kind of had my questions, but I had no proof. But you don't find the love of your life in 4 days.
No.
Yeah. Like, how do you even know? Like, I don't even know if I like somebody in
And-
that amount of time.
And
you
you're
know?
not with the love of your life if you have to
You
prove that
already-
they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Wait a
either.
minute. Wait
You
a
know what
minute. I was at a gentleman's club. And I met a girl named Misty.
They do love you. When they tell you that, they mean it. They
They
do
do.
mean it. Yeah.
It was perfectly fine until I ran out of money.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good.
Well, with that being said,
Yeah, guys, we're gonna close off.
yeah, we appreciate you, Tyler, and
Tyler, good luck with everything. I'll probably talk to you soon.
well, why don't you stay on? You can do the closing with us, Kevin,
Yeah.
because I want to thank you, Tyler, for coming down, telling your story, and we definitely will be doing a follow up with you. And you know, there's a lot of people in your shoes, and for you to come on here and tell your story, I know things are ongoing, but it takes some courage to get on camera and put your story out there. So it's a great story, and I feel for you. You're going through a lot of stuff, man. And I know that it'll work out. I know there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and I can see that you're one of those guys that's keeping your composure because you're doing it for the right reasons, and your son is the number one reason, and that's very admirable. And he'll respect you for that. And I'm glad you guys have a great relationship. So, with that being said, thanks for coming on. My name is Rich. I'm a +1.
Before I say I'm a +1, Rich, I mean, Rich always does have some of the kindest words I think can be spoken, and I do applaud you for that. I mean, that's what I think. Some of the things I look up to you for, but yeah. Well, with that said, I'm Eric, and I'm a +1.
We got Kevin.
And I'm Kevin, and I'm a +1.
And I'm Tyler, and I'm a +1.
Thanks for listening. So we're still on live, but for those of you guys who watched at home, we appreciate it, and we'll throw this video up, do a little edited version. We'll throw it on the YouTube channel. But another episode of This Is America. So thanks for watching.
On Sunday, I'm gonna